Stinky Bishop.
Hello, and welcome to the Saladcast on Thursday, 20th of May, 2010. I'm your host, Dan Train, and joining me once again are Robert Kemp.
Buenos días.
And Zachary Burgess.
Hello. Does that sort of count as one word, what Rob says? Is it hyphenated or something?
It's technically two words, isn't it, really? But
yeah, it's got to be at least two, I guess.
You said Buenos dias, right?
Yeah.
Buenos dias.
I thought it was Buenos ding dong dias.
Oh, you're right.
Because obviously we need to be incredibly specific with our retarded Simpsons quotes.
We do. It's very important. I'm not quite sure. That wasn't really necessary, was it? Because it was like a garden party, wasn't it? And he had all his relatives over, Ned Flanders. And
yes.
That was the Mexican one.
It was El Flanders.
El Flanderino.
And Lord Flanders from Britain.
Yes. Charm.
Googly oogly.
Yes. Oh, Simpsons references. Oh, The Simpsons is so lame now. Have you seen the Keyless? No, not Keyless. No, sorry, Keisha. That's it. The lame new pop singer that what's the song?
Oh, Kesha. Yeah.
Kasha, is that it? Oh, with the
Kesha.
dollar sign. Is that why it's
yeah.
cash? Oh, that's lame. Anyway, and she doesn't even sing. She just sort of talks or whatever.
Well, she
sort of
does in some songs, but.
But this is the one, the rip-off of Just Dance. That's the single.
Mm.
You know, brush my teeth.
Yeah.
What's that damn song? I don't know.
Party
Anyway,
don't start till I walk in.
yeah, and the gotta get a little bit and all that. Yeah, that song. They for the first time ever, The Simpsons, having jumped the shark years ago, the first time they changed the entire start sequence, so it was just like a version of that song. Well, it was just that song, but with characters from Springfield acting out the words and stuff. Instead of the whole intro. So it wasn't just a couch gag after the standard intro. They just did away with the entire, for this episode, the entire, theme song and just had that.
Train time! Also, my window is open, so these are going to be worse than usual.
That's a lot louder than normal.
That's very much louder.
Why is your window open, man? That's not going
Because it's fucking hot in here! Why else?
I know, but we need recording studio. We need air conditioning for our recording studio.
Yes,
really.
That's true.
Yeah,
it's only warm in your room because your system is like your computer is basically like an electric heater.
Oh, I've had the window open all day. It's still warm, but I expect it will get incredibly cold very shortly. Because as soon as it's not sunshine outside, it's like Jesus fuck, it just gets incredibly chilly instead, and then I have to close the window. It's really inconvenient.
Pentium 4s, efficient.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's got those tiny fans. The best thing about Zach's system is the way, the pitch of the whine from the fans changes as he does stuff differently on the computer, so it changes pitch.
It's important. It lets me know if it's fucking up at all. Which is why I can tell that Eve always screws up my system, where it's like, oh, why when I close Eve does my fan speed not reset? Oh, something's wrong. Eve is badly programmed somehow.
Does it stay spun up at high speed then after you close
Yeah, it stays at a high fan rate. But for some reason I discovered that I can use Dwarf Fortress to reset it. If you just run Dwarf Fortress and then close it again, it works out that it needs to turn its speed back down.
Right, because Dwarf Fortress naturally needs the speed very high to cope with all the sort of fleshy calculations.
Yes, it sort of does. It runs. Sometimes the fan speed when I play Dwarf Fortress does go as high as Eve's does, although Eve goes even higher than even higher than that still.
I don't
Did
understand.
you just describe them as fleshy calculations?
Yeah,
there is a lot of fleshy calculations in Dwarf Fortress.
I'm talking about Zach's always talking about the combat and how, like, in the new version, when
how fleshy it is.
Yeah, how there's 3 layers of skin and bone and flesh before you actually get to vital organs and stuff when it's calculating the sword going through somebody or something. Yep. And we're talking about just a capital D attacking a capital H or something, aren't we?
But with unnecessarily detailed reports about it.
It's dragons versus hippos. The fight that time forgot.
I was thinking dwarfs and humans, but I presume...
No, humans are U's for some reason. I'm not actually sure why.
It's an H then.
Well, hippos or hydras. Or...
Hippo.
Try and think of some other animals that start with H.
Are hippos really more common than, like, humans? You'd think...
Well, they're not more common, but they exist in the game.
Oh, hippos. Are there any characters that
maybe hippos came
up?
first in the development cycle?
What?
I don't know, you would have thought
Second
they might have
song
done...
H to hippo.
Yeah, you would have thought they would have done the sentient races first, not the wildlife.
Well, what's lower H?
Harpies. I'm sure there's another one, but I can't remember.
And lowercase d. Which one's dwarfs? D, presumably.
Yeah, dwarfs are capital D. Lowercase d is dogs and deer.
Okay.
So if you had a fight between a dog and a deer, no one could tell them apart.
Yeah, they're even the same colour, which is kind of inconvenient.
Is there anything that's bigger than one square? Like a massive dragon or something?
Not yet. They are planning on doing that. The only thing that's technically bigger than a square at the moment is a wagon, which is classed as a creature because that was like the lazy way that they programmed it. But it still only actually has one square of, interactivity. It just looks like it's more than one square.
You said they. Is there more than one guy working on this now?
Well, it's basically him and his brother, and he does all the programming, and then his brother does like background story and stuff and ideas.
It's like you and Collision Software.
It's ideas, man. I don't know. I was playing. What was that? What was that game you made where like it had that Ikaruga?
The train.
Zach.
Oh, it's a quieter one.
It was like Ikaruga in that you could flip your colour between orange and black instead of white and black, and then you had to shoot the sort of things that processed across.
Oh, one of the concept games.
Yeah. What was that one? Not that anyone listening will care, but
I didn't quite make that. No, it wasn't.
You did. It actually.
I didn't make. It wasn't a flipper one, was it?
Well, your character was like it was 3 squares arranged in a sort of chevron, and you had to sort of shoot these sort of blobs that sort of moved in a semicircular fashion. This is a great description.
Yeah, it's so great. I can't even work out what the hell you're talking about. I don't remember this. I remember the only concept game that I finished was the one where the enemies come in from the outside of the circle, and you have to just shoot them to stop them from coming in.
Oh, that was Shove a Q, wasn't it?
Yeah, shoving. Not technically concept though, because I used different colours.
That's not the one. This is
we should
definitely
probably
one
clear
you
this
made.
out. Clear this up. Back in the old days of Happy Salad, we had a bit of a game making spree, and the idea of concept games came up was simple, small games, kind of for the casual gaming market, entirely composed of white, black, and orange.
Back then.
It didn't exist at all back then, but yeah.
Well, yeah,
Did
we were
on the
preempting
internet.
bitches.
Well, I guess Vitalize was kind of the casual games market because you could make anything
Before
complicated.
That's true.
Before Flash owned it.
Yeah, pretty much. Although Flash was pretty much already owning it even at that point.
Well,
On the animation front, I can't remember that many old Flash games.
No,
I could be wrong.
I think that there are lots, but we just don't play them. So a lot of them don't. They don't seem to impact that much. I mean, the only Flash games that I ever play are like things that are linked on Reddit, and they're usually like really arty games that last about 5 minutes, like or hilarious like that. Don't you have to break the rope? Do you ever play that?
No.
You have to break the. Oh, it's a sort of a joke on games that really flag up exactly what you have to do to defeat a boss or whatever. All you have to do. Oh, burn the rope. You have to burn the rope. That's right. All you have to do in the whole game. All it is like a boss, and all you have to do is burn the rope. And the game is called "You Have to Burn the Rope," and that's it. And it has a whole theme song at the end.
There was that funny Flash game a while ago. That, what was it called? I can't remember, but it was that stupid game that was a sort of a piss take of achievements, where the entire game was just about doing the achievements, and there was a massive list of stupid achievements where it's like die 5 times in a row, and there was no game to it. It was like you had a sprite and then like a sort of single screen level, and you just had to jump around and determine how to get these achievements because most of them were like not revealed. You just had to like try doing stupid things until the achievements popped up.
Oh, I played that. I think because it doesn't take that long to do them all, does it? Or
No.
But you do have to work out how to do them, so it's quite funny. Yeah, I remember that.
And then like, there's achievements for just like staying still for 30 seconds.
Yeah. Oh no, I know the one I was playing. This is really bad. It's a flash game where you had to avoid pooping yourself. Have you ever played this?
I've heard of it,
like I should.
Yeah.
Because Rob loves the butts.
It's a sort of puzzle. There's various ways of actually completing it but it's actually quite hard. And it's one of those like text. It's got one of those old text adventure interfaces where semantic, where you just type in the verb of what to do. So it's like open door, you have to type, or sit on toilet, or stuff like that. It's like open door. The door is locked. Unlocked door.
Oh no.
Stuff like that, and poops. You can just type. You get achievements. So if you just type poop self within the first second, you get an achievement for failing immediately. Stuff like that.
Throwing the towel.
And you can release pressure by just saying fart. If you say fart, it's like you poop yourself. And so you say fart gently, and it's like you relieve some pressure. Now you have more time to solve the puzzle. It's really bad. Anyway, flash games.
Well, that was vaguely on topic. Success.
Yeah, no, I can't remember the name of the game that you made.
Yeah, I can't remember the game at all either. So it's like, apparently I made this.
This freaking thing exists. I swear to God, I'm gonna go on a hunt for it. I think after this.
I seem to remember a chevron, but that could be a number of things.
The only game I remember that I made specifically that was a shooter was the stupid one where you could detach the front of the ship from the rear of the ship and fly it around separately.
Oh yeah. Oh, and were they attached at all?
Well,
with a string.
Well, I think one of the power-ups was like a string between them that you could use to kill stuff.
Okay.
I say one of the power-ups. It was probably about the only power-up I programmed at that point, of course, before I gave up.
I remember that. Okay. You guys talk about what you've been playing about. I'm going to try and find this game and see if I can prove to myself that it actually existed. So I'm going to ask the question of... you
better ask me if Rob's still eating.
Okay, Zach, man. What have you been playing this week?
Well, I can
safely... Adventure.
Is that what I'm playing at the moment?
Pretty much.
Delicious Duckball Adventure, surely.
Yes.
Or Super Delicious Duckball Adventure.
Super Delicious Duckball Adventure DS.
Where the DS stands for delicious shit or something.
Double stuff.
Double sauce.
Double sauce.
Okay. Well, I've not been playing this week. What I've not been playing this week, which is like what I would have been talking about mostly, is Eve, because the patch got totally delayed. Helpfully.
Oh no. After all this talking about it, it's actually been delayed.
I'm still not going to be able to talk about it for at least another 2 weeks. Success.
Does anyone know why? What's going on? Do they always delay patches, or is this
no, I've got sweet and sour sauce on my stomach.
Ew.
It's all basically...
Ew. Well, basically, they never delay patches in Eve. So basically, This time it's like, oh no, they're delaying the patch, and which basically everyone on the forum has taken to mean they finally learnt that they can't release a patch on time, so they might as well delay and make it more finished and better working with less bugs.
But do you think they really will fix it, or are they just late?
No, I think they probably will. I think because there was a lot of feedback this time where it was like they actually had a lot of people on the test server testing it and stuff, and people were saying, "Oh, this is still shit. Why have you not made this better?" So with all this feedback, I think they've actually realised that maybe this time they should just delay and actually make it a slightly better thing at the end.
Okay. But is 2 weeks going to help it, do you think? I mean, this sounds like a very ambitious patch, to be honest. Although, is it, in the great scheme of patches, Eve patches over the years?
Well, it's not as major in sort of But no, it's hard to say because this is one of those factors where the probable major effect will be economy rather than combat. So it's quite hard to predict whether it will be a serious, a big thing. Whether economies will just collapse all over the place and people's star bases will shut down because no one's making the fuel fast enough or whatever.
You could probably argue that the entire graphic replacement was one of the biggest patches.
Well, yes, but this is a game that's pretty ancient at this point, so it really did need that.
Yeah, but it was big.
It was. Well, it was big in size as well. But I think the funny thing about this patch is, so you obviously on the forum everyone was saying, "Oh, good job, you're actually delaying a patch for a change to make some bug fixes and stuff." But in their press release, well, not press release thing, sort of blog / press release / community post thing that they made about this, it was really obvious that it's while everyone on the forum was obviously they pushed it back because it's not finished or whatever, but in their post, it's the obvious PR spin of it, where it's we want to not give people an unfair advantage, and because they've been playing the test server, and we want to level the player field by releasing sort of half the patch first, so you'll be able to look at the resources on planets, and then a week later, then you'll be able to actually start mining it.
Right. So are they doing that then?
Yes, the first release in I think it's next week. They're releasing the skills so you can train those, and you'll be able to scan the planets. And then a week, I think it's 2 weeks after that, then you can actually start mining them.
Okay, but it'll take more than a week or so to train the skills that they.
Well, this is the really ridiculous thing about it, where it's they're releasing the skills early so you can start training them. And it's why not just not release the skills and give everyone the skills at level 2 to start with? Don't make us train these shitty skills if you're just going to. It's we can't use them yet. How are we going to know if they're necessary or vital?
What?
Although it'll probably be fairly obvious. But I thought that was kind of dumb, where they were suggesting that in order to sort of level the playing field and allow people who won't be there on launch day for this patch to sort of not be behind, they'd give everyone a week to train skills. It's what? Just give everyone the skills if you're that worried about it.
Yeah, but
or don't have the structures require skills.
Do they ever give skills to people, without training?
Only in exceptionally rare cases where it's an actual server error or whatever, where it's you were meant to be gaining skill points and you weren't or something.
So why are you saying just give them the skills? I mean, I know it'll take time to learn them and you don't.
Because the way they phrased it, where they were saying we want to give everyone a week to survey planets and train skills. Where they were trying to say we want everyone to be sort of on a level playing field when we actually let you start mining. It's we'll just give everyone the skills then. Then the playing field will be perfectly level.
I know, but that kind of defeats the object of skills then, doesn't it, really? No, it's just an excuse, really, isn't it? They're just saying we need more time, but we're going to give you something to do.
That is basically the excuse. It's we can release this bit.
Yeah,
but the whole idea that they're trying to level the playing field by letting people look at the planets before they can start mining because they were worried about people on the test server having an unfair advantage because they'd already had experience with the system. Right. That's just ridiculous because it's nothing in EVE is a level playing field ever. So it's just suddenly they're oh no, we must try and not make this unfair because for some reason we're worried about that now. Unlike all the other patches that have come off the test server where people could look at them and then just gone straight live.
So have you been on the test server?
No, I've only read about it on the forums. So I'm sort of in the middle group between actual test server experience and not even paying attention.
But you've done all this non-scanning scanning of planets before you've had the scanning ability to try and figure out from their stats.
And it's looking very much more likely that that's going to be entirely pointless because they're looking like they're just going to reseed all the planets anyway. So I'll be able to use that week to go around and scan planets, as will everyone else in the entire goddamn universe.
Yeah, everyone will be doing that, but the difference is you've been doing it for no reason. Pointless.
Yeah, it's I've been doing it in order to give myself a slightly leveler playing field over the people on the test server because I didn't imagine that suddenly the game running people would be like, no, let's make this a level playing field. That's just like, that's so exactly opposite to the general, how everything progresses in Eve, that I never thought it would happen. So I was automatically assuming that I'd better try and get whatever tiny advantage I could without having to actually go on the test server.
That was like a bit of a waste of time there, but never mind. We had a laugh scanning planets without an ability to scan, I guess.
Yeah.
It was around fucked up planet, so it's not all lost.
That's true.
Well,
that was worth it.
Yeah, but those fucked up planets won't be there any longer. Or maybe they will. I'll have to go back to that planet to see whether even the reseed doesn't get rid of that weird bug.
If they're still, like, slightly weird in, like, 2 weeks' time, then that'll all be worth it then. Definitely.
Yeah, basically. Oh, Jesus, 2 trains in a row!
It's because, they obviously are more frequent when you have your window open. As soon as you close it, they stop going past.
It has seemed like that today. There was 2 goods trains that passed each other exactly opposite my window. So it was like the precise point where the 2 trains overlapped was directly outside.
Okay.
Which was fairly impressive.
Well, so the point where the engines at the front of the trains passed each other was just outside your window.
Yeah.
And they were about the same length.
Not sure I'd describe that as impressive.
Well,
it's quite unlikely if you're given the length of track that you're talking about.
Unlikely maybe. Impressive. Yeah.
No, it's not.
But unfortunately, it's not even that unlikely because just about every train they pass here at basically the same time. This must just be the middle point on the timetable where the 2 trains coming from the 2 different stations at the end cross over in the middle.
Yeah,
and almost exactly next to our house.
Oh man, did you see that video on BBC News and also on YouTube where it was Thurston Station, near Stowmarket, and a steam train was going past and this guy was videotaping it and he was standing practically on the tracks, and then the express train comes the other way and almost mows it down.
That was awesome. The fact that made me laugh most about that video was the fact that the woman behind the camera sort of goes, it doesn't exactly warn the bloke. It sort of goes, and this bloke sort of just stands there completely oblivious, as if we're supposed to be a good warning.
Supposed to tell you to get out of the way. No kind of movement towards him. No kind of get out of the way, Frederick, or whatever. It was just
she's sort of sitting there with this camera going, this is going to be awesome.
yeah. Taping it. I mean, you have to wonder who was actually taping it. Oh dear. It was pretty funny. So Eve, then. Have you been playing anything else, man?
Another thing that I could talk about somewhat, but not very much more, was I played a lot more Civ 4. I got into the expansion pack, where, as predicted, it contained all the stuff that should have been in the original game. Just like in Civ 3. It was like, again?
So are you happy now?
Well, considering how cheap it was anyway, I was fairly happy even with the base game, but the added sort of features and stuff in the expansion make it, better.
So
I would
what
say it's
is it
amazing
that you like
still.
best about the added features from the expansion? What's the essential?
Well, the big thing that changes is the sort of the espionage system, which was from Civ 3. They drastically cut it down in Civ 4. It was super simplified, and then in the expansion pack for Civ 4, they're basically going back to how it was in Civ 3 again. They just reverted it and made it as complicated as it used to be, and probably a little bit more. Where you can put like a percentage of your economy, because you know how you could like have your economy percentage, like you put percentage into wealth or research or happiness. But now you can also put it into espionage, where you get more espionage points, and that lets your spies perform missions when you have a sufficient number of points against enemy cities.
Are they actually useful, these missions?
Yeah, they can be. You can do. Well, the main one is you can just do counter espionage, where it's like, for the next 10 turns or something, that opponent can't do anything to espionage you. Haha.
But what can you do that actually does something?
Well, you can, sabotage all buildings and all that kind of stuff. Really, the only reason I use the espionage points, because this is probably just another element of my being not actually very good at Civ, but it's like the only real reason I use it is because once you have enough espionage points built up against a civilization, you can see into any of their cities that you know of, and you can see what they're researching, which is pretty useful.
So you can plan to counter whatever stuff they're developing. So
yeah.
So if they're developing, some kind of weapon, then you can invest in the rock, paper, scissors.
Yes, basically.
Yeah,
you can see when they're about to advance up the tech trees. You'll be like, now they're a slightly bigger threat.
Sounds good.
So that's quite useful. But the other thing that's fairly awesome about the expansion is it includes like a weird selection of mods and scenarios which do various hilarious things to Civ.
Like, are you playing scenarios then? Or are you playing just games?
No, I've just been playing just games and then a couple of the mods.
How long do the games take that you're playing?
Still forever, as usual in Civ. Although there now is like options for speed of the game where you can say, I don't want to play such a ridiculously long game, thanks.
But you
for some reason it's like they seem to have not quite got this the right way around, because the different speed settings, you have like standard and then you have quick, but then above standard you have epic and marathon. It's like you're meant to do more lower ones, not more higher ones. We don't need games of Civ to be longer.
Is marathon the longest or epic? You'd think epic.
I can't remember. Longest. They might be the other way around.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is unnecessarily long. It still takes 15 hours to finish a normal length game.
15 hours? Jeez. How many of those have you played in the past week?
Like 2.
Fair enough. Bloody hell.
But yeah, I played these weird mods. There's one which is it turns into a sort of tower defense where the units are really like specific. They do specific things. Like you have like forest unit where it's only good in forests, and then it's like you have a weird map where it's like left to right, and then you put cities on the right, and then you have to defend them against waves of enemies that come from the other side. So you have to set up your defenses precise. Although really all it is like you have to work out the path that all the enemy units take, because obviously they just take the quickest route to your cities. So it's like, if I put a unit right here, it will kill every single enemy on the map, because they'll just keep walking into it.
Oh god, because they're not clever enough to walk around it, right?
No. Although, I mean, that is kind of an element of the tower defenseness of it.
Because to direct
you set
people,
up the tower in the right place.
Yeah, of course.
But that was kind of interesting. But it got kind of ridiculous.
The skills you learn in that help in any way in the main game? Like,
not really. It's basically a totally different system. Everything is changed. But it gets kind of ridiculous very quickly. It's like I managed to get up to like wave 10, where it introduced zombie enemies. Where it's not really, well, I say zombie enemies, it's not zombies of enemies, it's a type of enemy called a zombie.
Okay.
But it was like that wave had like 128 zombies. It's like, Jesus Christ, this is taking forever. It's like my one unit can easily kill like 20 zombies a turn, but it's still taking goddamn forever for them to just throw themselves against my defences. So you need to turn on fast combat for that, I think. That was my main problem. I maybe should have turned on fast combat a bit quicker. Once I realised. Exactly? It means that you don't get so much combat animation and it just resolves almost instantly. Instead of bothering to show the enemies running up to you and then dying.
Yeah. I just get annoyed when it's like, it's taking a turn and then something happens. I don't mind missing the animation, but I just want to know what happened, because sometimes it goes on to the next.
Yeah, where it's like some unit has disappeared and you're like, I had a unit there a minute ago, what the fuck?
Yeah, where'd it go? Yeah, stuff like that. And you need time to know what's happened, but you don't need time to know what's happening. You don't need to know what, you don't need to watch things happen. You just need to know.
It was always the problem with the Civ games where the CPU would always just build a massive stack of units all on one tile.
Yeah, and you couldn't tell.
You'd see them coming, and then once they got next to your city, it was like, next turn is going to be very long, because I'm going to be sitting here watching about 50 goddamn units just pound against my guys.
Oh dear. Actually, a zombie apocalypse, that would be an interesting thing to unleash, like, towards the end of an actual proper game of Civilization.
Well, I think one of the scenarios is like a zombie sort of game, where it's like you defend against the wildlife of zombies.
I see.
In a sort of post-apocalyptic setting, which sounds kind of interesting. But then the other one that I've actually been playing is the space mod, where it turns it into sort of space colonization, where you have like star systems with planets. No, it's more in space rather than on a different planet.
Right. How does that work with the engine of Civ then?
Well, it's quite ingenious actually, because you have like star systems which are the equivalent of cities, as in it replaces the cities. But then when you open up the star system window, you can select each of the individual planets to build stuff on. So each planet can be upgraded with every building.
So this is like a big area of space on a flat plane, which is grid-based, just like Civ.
Yeah, and then all your ships move on the grids.
I see.
Which is kind of weird.
What can you sort of engineer on 3 bits of space? Space lanes or something?
Yeah, not very much basically. You build warp lanes which are the equivalent of roads, obviously, and then they upgrade to jump lanes, which are the equivalent of railways. So you can just move your ships faster between the systems. And then apart from that, you don't actually build anything in space. Apart from on the resource points, you build mines, and you can build like star bases to claim resources that are outside of your influence.
I can't help but think this will. Yeah, I can't help but think this will actually play better than Sins of a Solar Empire. Not that I'm saying it was bad, but it was basically a one-trick pony, wasn't it? Sins, you kind of it was a bit of a tank rush.
Well, yeah, that was the thing about Sins. It's like with Sins, it did have some upgrading, and you could build shit in orbit, and that would give you different options and stuff. But the trouble with Sins was, it's like almost the polar opposite, because Sins was like, you have to do everything insanely fast and be constantly doing stuff, or otherwise your forces just get overwhelmed because the enemies are doing stuff as fast as they possibly can. Whereas in Civ, it's like, space is incredibly slow, where it's like, your ships only move 1 square per turn, and it takes like 15 squares to go between 2 different star systems.
Realistic, I suppose.
Well, yeah. Kind of annoying, though. It's almost too slow.
Not fun. Yeah. Interesting. So you've been playing anything else, or is that your...
It does almost seem to be that almost seems to sort of limit combat a bit too much in the space game. Because it's like, you can't easily reinforce your units. It's like you have to build up a huge force and then send it all at once and hope that's enough. Because otherwise you're never going to get reinforcements to them in time.
Right, yeah. Well,
which is
that
also
kind of makes
arguably
sense
realistic.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense as well.
Can you still call on your advisors and yet they're all wearing spacesuits?
That'd be great.
Unfortunately, the advisors were kind of dropped from Civ 4 altogether, which kind of sucks. But the animations for like the heads of state are pretty awesome. Where it's like, look at Lincoln massaging his temples.
That's a bit weird how they...
Because that's a very Lincoln maneuver, apparently.
It's a bit odd how they dropped advisors from Civilization and then they turned up in SimCity. Do you remember? Like in SimCity 4, you get advisors.
Well, they turned up. They were in SimCity 3000, so...
Oh, were they? Okay.
That was maybe... I don't know, that was sort of at the same time, really. I mean, it wasn't exactly the same time, but it was in the same sort of generation.
I think it's weirder that whenever someone says Lincoln, I instantly think of the gay bar video.
That says something about you.
I think it does.
He's dressed like Lincoln, isn't he, with his top hat and the beard?
Yes.
At the gay bar.
Hey man, I found your game.
You don't get advisors, which is kind of annoying.
Oh, you found Chevron Blaster?
Yeah, it's called Rotate Concept.
I'm remembering this.
Zach, the person who made the game, is the
well,
only one who doesn't remember. Okay,
the name sounds familiar, but then, using the word rotate is not uncommon for me in terms of, I don't know, programming, I guess.
Okay, I'm going to read out what you said about it, okay? It says, after a nicely scripted start sequence, brackets, well, it took ages to make, so it must be nice, close brackets, round 1 begins.
What?
The balls appear from the bottom
No way I wrote that!
Yeah, you did. This is on Happy Salad. The balls appear from the bottom
that sounds more like something Rob
towards
wrote.
the top. As they reach the top, you must use your correctly coloured ship to destroy them. Destroy more consecutively.
Oh, wait, I do remember this game now.
Yeah.
Your description of it really wasn't helping, though. But yes, I do remember it.
I described it exactly right. It was in a semicircle.
Well, you did describe it.
It was like a character. Yeah, well, you changed flip colours. So you remember it now. Oh.
Yeah.
Rotate Concept. There you go. A game that you actually finished and you don't remember.
I totally don't remember the intro of it though, which was apparently awesome.
I really actually don't remember if it was any good, which is probably the important thing here.
Oh, it was barely a game at all. But I mean, there's almost nothing to it. But the intro thing it's talking about was like it had a number in it.
That's what concept games are about.
It counted up like the number of balls, and then it would sort of feed them into the hopper before the round started. It wasn't like an intro sequence, traditional style. It was like a little sequence that played out every round.
I don't think I have a copy of this.
Oh, it's.
No, I don't think I have a copy of this.
No, I can't find a GAM file, but I do have the Vitalize file in my archive of happysalad.com. So
I'll see if I can find it online.
It's about 42k in terms of file size.
Well, that's what the concept games were for.
Yeah, that's true.
Miniature games.
Back in the days of dial-up modems.
You embody the true spirit.
Actually, that was probably after the days of dial-up modems.
Well, yeah, a little bit after, maybe. Yeah.
512 broadband, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, we were discussing before how the site looks so hilarious in that it has to apologise for games being like 3 megabytes. Like,
I don't even know where I put my games.
It's going to take forever to download, but it's good, so don't worry.
Anyway,
I
think we might be alienating the audience there somewhat.
Yes. Okay. I might talk about what I've been playing, shall I? How's that?
Yes, I can't think of anything else that I've been playing at the moment. I might come up with something later.
Okay, we'll get back to you, shall we?
Okay. I doubt we will, but carry on.
You never know. Well, I'm going to start, I think, because you always go last, so I might as well.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, yes.
I finally, like literally just before we started recording this, finished Assassin's Creed 2. Oh, at
so
last.
we can never talk about it again.
I'm telling you guys, long game is long. Seriously, like I managed to find an hour count on it, and I was thinking about it. Like, it's an action game, right? I mean, it's not an RPG. I mean, I played Mass Effect 2. I played through in about a week or something, but that's about 35 hours. I found, which is a little bit shorter than like KOTOR, which is my kind of reference standard for how long a big meaty RPG really ought to be. I think if it goes over that, which obviously, you know, Dragon Age and sort of the serious.
And no, Mass Effect is erring towards an action game anyway, isn't it, rather than an RPG? So.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. But whereas Assassin's Creed is more sort of, you know, hack and slash and jumping across.
Well, Mass Effect 1 did have a lot of walking around and talking to people, especially at the start with the Citadel. It's like just getting through the Citadel takes fucking forever.
Exactly. Whereas Assassin's Creed, there's no like talking to people. There's no dialogue options. There's no.
You're killing them.
Sorry.
Because you're killing them.
Because you're killing them. Exactly. You're basically stabbing everyone up. But I looked at my hour count. I've been a bit completionist. Like, whenever like stuff opened up, I like on the map, I was always going and doing it before I carried on with the story. You know, like side missions. Like you get assassination contracts, which are really cool little side missions for basically just killing someone, but it's always got a nice little story to the individual little missions. And then there are more basic ones like races and career assignments where you have to just deliver a package really quickly. What else is there? Oh, there's beat up events, which are hilarious. Every single one is the same, pretty much. There's always a woman crying in the street, and you talk to her, and her husband has always cheated on her, and you always have to go and beat him up. That's all it is. There's like 6 of them in the game. And it's like, it's pretty pointless. It's quite fun because after the initial stage of the game, by the time you've got a sword and stuff, you don't really do much of the hand-to-hand combat after that. So it's a nice opportunity to get in some punches and do some non-lethal ass-kicking. But, and I hadn't collected all the little treasures and stuff. But my hour count now, having just finished it, it's 29 hours. That's pretty good value. This is for a single-player game, I think. It's pretty good going, I think.
In my world of not having much time to play games as I'd like, that's kind of a bit worrying, really, because at some point I do want to go back and at least attempt the first Assassin's Creed again. But
yeah, well,
if they're that epically long, I might switch off before I reach 10.
I don't think Assassin's Creed, the first one, is as long, but I don't know because I haven't played all the way through it. I didn't enjoy it. What was going on in it at first. I much preferred this from the start, this sequel. But so I don't really know what happened in the first one. But it wasn't.
In my head, the thing that's possibly going to draw me back to Assassin's Creed 1 is simply the sound you make when certain things happen in the world. That sort of what. The sort of piano. I don't know. Maybe it's.
I think I know. Yeah,
the sort of reversed piano, sort of tinkly music.
Yeah, I know that. You get a lot of tinkles and little swells in the music whenever stuff happens. Like it does that sort of glitchy Animus thing where it's like it goes white and all pixelated and weird, but in a cool way. Like graphically, I was saying I think it's probably the best. It's probably the best. It's the best looking multi-platform game anyway. I think probably
until Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that, but I've got that. I had to finish this today because I've pre-ordered that, so that's arriving tomorrow. So next podcast, serious Red Dead Redemption. I'm really excited now. It's getting stupid reviews.
I actually think it might look quite good, simply because it looks like GTA 4 without most of the crap in the West.
Yeah,
but
that's people are saying it's not quite Grand Theft Auto in that they haven't just stuck to their formula.
Well, you own the horses, so you do. Not stealing them.
Well, you can steal them, and you can find wild horses and like tame them, and like and they're faster and stuff because they're like wild Mustangs, so, stuff like that.
And you can ride a donkey.
Yeah, all kinds of things.
Yeah,
but I really like GTA 4, and it's my kind of game. And I think this really looks like. In fact, I was saying with the Batman game that like that got me really into Batman. I started like reading the comics and stuff, and Assassin's Creed was getting me into looking up sort of Renaissance Italy and on Wikipedia.
Are you styling yourself on Clint Eastwood? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Well, what I was going to say is I started watching in preparation. I haven't even played the game yet. I've already started watching westerns in preparation. So I watched 310 to Yuma the other day, the new one.
Ooh, I haven't seen that.
Have you seen that?
Ridiculous things to type into chat.
Yeah, exactly. All the gringo stuff. Can
you be a Mexican?
No, but you go into Mexico later in the game, so you meet lots of Mexicans. But you are just one guy. You're
I
like
bet
Nico
they won't
Bellic,
say "Hey, gringo."
I bet they will. I bet you they will. In fact, I would be willing to bet that they will say "hey, gringo" at some point.
They might say it, but it won't be as hilarious as when Rob says it in his incredibly bad Mexican accent.
Perhaps
not.
Not.
Talking about Mexican accent.
It's fine. It's a comedy phrase that
gringo.
Yeah, yeah. So it's going to be really good. I'm really excited, but no point talking about it until I actually play it. But it does look
gringo got like quesadillas.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed. The worst thing about Assassin's Creed 2 is Danny Wallace. Do you know who he is?
Name rings a bell.
He's that guy. Well, he's like friends with Dave Gorman. He was flatmates with Dave Gorman. Comedy.
Yes.
And he's done like make your own little micronation country and stuff like that. He's done TV series and things. Do you know the guy I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, he does a voice of someone in Assassin's Creed 2. Like in the real world in Assassin's Creed 2, where you're Desmond Miles or whatever. You have a little team around you helping you. I told you it's not a big spoiler, but at the start of the game, you break out from the evil corporation and you start working for,
a slightly good one.
Yeah, and you have like an advisor who's this like arsehole techie guy with glasses who always is really smarmy. But anyway, it's voice acted by Danny Wallace, and every time he talks, it's so excruciatingly rubbish. I mean,
hello. My name is Danny. Scientist person number 1.
It's just, I can't even describe how irritating every time he speaks is. It's really jarring with the rest of the game, because I'm not saying the voice acting is amazing, but when you're actually in Italy, like, it's quite seamless, actually, a lot of the stuff. They talk in this kind of quite strange half Italian, half English thing, where they occasionally slip in a bit of Italian to give it a sort of Renaissance flavour thing. But after a while, you forget about that, and it doesn't seem very jarring. Like by the time that Uncle Mario comes up and says it's a me Mario, then you've kind of forgotten about that being a bit weird. So all that voice work is absolutely fine, and Ezio's really good actually. But yeah, every time Danny Wallace chimes in, it's like, shut up, man.
I was a bit worried that you were going to say he was one of the like Italians somewhere.
No, he's not.
So it would have been a bit like, my name is Ezio. I kill people for a living. Hello, I'm Danny.
That would be really weird. But no, he's like your advisor type guy who talks to you. So a lot of times, you'll encounter a new character who you have to assassinate or something that's important to the plot or something, and you go into your little database that gives you info on all the people, but the most important people get a whole video file, and it's just him talking about the guy, and it always starts with him saying the guy's name, like Venezio il Barbarigo or something, and then he goes on and talks about a little story about him, and it's just so annoying, and you can't skip them, I don't think. Or I think you can skip them after the first time you've watched them. You might be able to skip them completely, but I think I was just watching them for the lulz, basically, because it's just so awful.
Sorry, Danny.
So that's annoying.
It's perfectly clear we're laughing at you.
And another annoying thing, do you remember in Midtown Madness, how occasionally you're driving along and the cars would just swerve into you?
Yeah.
They just swerve right into you. Like, you couldn't just drive around normally in that game because the game wanted carnage. It couldn't survive without carnage. So
it's like everyone driving past was like, "Oh my god, this car is slightly unusual. What do I do? Behave erratically."
Yeah, they slam into you for no reason. Well, in Assassin's Creed 2, there are these guys wandering around on the street carrying boxes full of like
grenades,
vegetables. No, not grenades, just vegetables or something boring. And they're just walking around with boxes, but they make a beeline for you every time. And all you have to do is sort of touch them, and they drop their box and get pissed off, and then guards around will say, "Hey, why are you knocking his box off? And why are you stopping that and stuff?" And it's just really annoying. Why can't they just watch where they're going, the idiots?
You had an accident in the market that wasn't your fault. Did you spill your potatoes and didn't receive compensation?
Yeah. Cool.
Don't get murdered.
Yeah. The last person I would like...
What they don't get murdered.
That's good advice.
Walk with your box straight into an assassin for no reason, and they go... Although I did find that there are also these like minstrel guys in the open marketplaces who will run up to you and start playing a song about how awesome you are, which attracts guys and stuff. So basically, you run into them.
That's really inconvenient. If you're so awesome, you just attract minstrels. It's like,
you do.
Fuck up!
It's really annoying. It happens all the time as well. And so they run after you. So like, and then if you stop,
just to be clear, we are talking about bards, not small chocolates.
Not little chocolates, no.
I think that's fairly clear. I'm not sure many people are going to realise even that minstrels are a type of chocolate.
I've dreamt of them chasing me.
They're these guys with lutes, and yeah, they start singing about how awesome your assassinations and stuff are.
Fat lutes.
Yeah. They're all quite fat, but you can't pick them up, unfortunately, so you can't actually pick up the fat loot. But you do. I always run into them immediately. Even if I'm walking, I run straight into them to knock the loot out their hands, and then they get pissed off, but I don't really care. Like, shut up. It's really annoying. And also, like, usually there's only one of them, but I found a part of the game where there's like 3 of them at once, and I don't think the game can work out like when there are 3 people playing at once. Like, none of them seem to play at all. They just walk up to you and stand there because they can't seem to play the same song together. It's obviously not programmed.
I was really hoping that they were all going to be playing different songs at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping as well, yeah. Because that would be really jarring. So they've obviously got some kind of programming or line of code in there to stop them from singing all different things at the same time. Yeah, just sit there.
That's just lazy.
Yeah, it's just a fix, really, isn't it? But
have you never heard of the unspoken musician rule that you have to have a stare-down contest before deciding who to play?
Yeah, they're all staring at you, though. It's really annoying. Like, oh.
which one freaks
them
out
do
the
they
most
still attract guards, even though they're only staring at you, making no noise at all?
I don't know, actually. Because they don't... It's only if there's a guard right there, usually. There are guards like just wandering around the city, and you can just walk past them and stuff. But if you have like notoriety, then they start, which is a meter that fills up, and which you can reduce by. There's various ways you can like kill people who are preaching about your misdeeds and stuff, or you can just rip posters off the wall, wanted posters, which is by far the easiest way. But sometimes if there's a guard there when you rip down the poster, he'll chase after you, and then you'll get the meter will fill up again anyway. So you have to find another.
Sounds really stupid that you could reduce your notoriety for murdering people by murdering more people.
Yeah, you can actually, as long as you can't do it in public, because otherwise people will notice, and then your notoriety will go back up. So you have to like trail them, and then I don't know.
Or maybe you want the fame. Maybe you want to do a public killing in front of everyone, stand up with a fanfare.
Well, you can. I mean, you can't kill too many civilians. Like, if you kill 2 civilians in a row, then it desynchronizes or whatever. You have to start over because Ezio did not kill civilians, but he did kill millions upon millions of guards. Anyone on the rooftop.
Given your box people, you must have killed a few civilians, just out of nudge him. Oh man, you dropped my potatoes. Seriously, what the fuck? Stab, stab.
Yeah, sometimes I stab them up when they drop their freaking boxes. Because, like, there was a mission towards right at the end, like when I was playing just now today, where you had to remain anonymous, and the game obviously deliberately placed a whole bunch of guys with boxes walking straight towards you just to piss you off.
It's like a wall of box carriers.
Yeah, basically they're walking towards you, and you're trying to walk around them as slowly as possible. And you can also hold, when you're walking, you can hold B. I think this was in the first game. But
to sort of gently push people out of the way.
To nudge people out of the way. It doesn't seem very important at all in the second game. It barely needs to be there anymore, I don't think. Because it did look pretty stupid in the first game. There's some funny like YouTube videos of what's his name, Altair, just pushing a guy over and over again against a wall or something. It's quite good. But,
actually, I felt, to be honest, out of most of the animations in the game, that's one of the better ones. How they sort of, because it tends to do the right, the civilians will do the right duck or the right sort of get out the way move for however Altair is holding his hands up.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Neat.
That kind of animation in Assassin's Creed and Assassin's Creed 2, there's so much attention to detail there. Like, and I mean, one of the amazing things about the first game, which is completely carried on, is the free running. Just the animation where every time he grabs a ledge, his hand is actually on that ledge, which is pretty amazing the way. And he never looks weird, like his arms never sort of stretch.
It's slightly less amazing now because, as I say, a lot of games
it's
now
been
do
done
that thing. Yeah, things.
Yeah.
It was done in the first game. Then Uncharted did it as well.
Yeah.
And
well, that's also a game with amazing animation, isn't it? But so it's nothing special now, but now it's an integral part of Assassin's Creed because obviously you spend most of your time climbing and running over. In fact, I looked at my stats when I was looking for that 29-hour game time. It also tells you how high you've climbed, and it's like 10k, 10 kilometers I've climbed over that 29 hours. You spend a lot of time climbing. You have to get those viewpoints and things. Sorry?
Are you in space or dying then? Or...
Well, no, you don't climb it in one go. You keep dropping down. It's a...
Then you're unclimbing and it should go down again.
Well, it should always stay at 0. It just tells you your altitude. So you have to go up to the top of the tower, go into the menu, and it just tells you how high you are.
Yeah, your Altair-attitude.
So yes, I finally finished it. It's good. It's long but always good quality. I really like that game. In fact, I was saying it has quite a lot in common with Grand Theft Auto. But I'm really looking forward to Red Dead Redemption tomorrow, and that game is going to last me ages as well. So be prepared to be talking about that for a while. But
hooray!
I did manage today. Oh, that's the thing I was annoyed about. Like, there's 2 missing memory sequences, or there's 2 missing bits of the game, which were originally supposed to be in there. And the game's long enough as it is, so I wasn't really pissed off that they weren't there. But they're available as DLC, and I knew that, so I managed to get into Xbox Live because, my Paul's internet will only allow one IP address through the thing, so I had to wait. I had to unconnect my computer, wait for like half an hour, and then plug in my Xbox, and it actually did go onto Xbox Live, which I haven't been on for a while. So you may notice my achievements and stuff have actually synchronized. You can actually see what I've done in Mass Effect 2 now. But you have to pay for it. You have to pay for the DLC, and considering what there is to download compared to what there is in the original game, in terms of value for money, it's really bad because that at full price or whatever, £35. I reckon that 29 hours, pretty good value, really. And I paid less for it. I probably paid 26 or something. But those DLC packs are like £3 each or something. There's 2 of them, and and then you have to pay more to get the stuff that was in the special edition of the game on launch, which was a few more of the tomb things, like the dungeons, which are really cool. I mean, they're one of the funnest bits of Assassin's Creed 2 are the little Assassin's tombs, because they're like little platforming, but almost like Prince of Persia sections, which are quite distinct from the rest of the game, and they're really fun. They have puzzles and stuff. Probably the best, because apparently the new Prince of Persia, the new Prince of Persia that was called Prince of Persia, we talked about that.
The best description I've heard of that game is that the title is very apt, and that The Forgotten Sands seems to be the game that they sort of forgot about and then thought, oh, you know what, let's just ship it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the new one that's just come out, and apparently, that's not so great either. So I think these Assassin's Tombs, probably the best platforming stuff come out of Ubisoft since those old Prince of Persia games. So they're really good.
I find it weird that they came up with this sort of franchise reboot last year or year before, whenever it was, not that long ago, and they've ditched it and gone for, let's go back to the old style.
That's just because nobody liked it, so now they're playing safe.
And they want to tie in with the movie.
And tie in with the film, exactly. But
the film was for the first game.
Yeah, so they've gone back to that universe. They've dropped this new one that they made, and when they realised, oh shit, the movie isn't based in this new one's universe, it's based in the old universe. So we better go back.
There wasn't really anything that wrong with the last game, other than it was stylishly different and, perhaps a bit easier.
It just didn't feel right. Like, the characters didn't feel right to me. Not that they'd ever felt right, because Warrior within the emo prince and stuff, but they just... I don't know what it was about this, because I played a little bit of the Prince of Persia, the newer one, the reboot, and I just wasn't. I was excited about it while it was in development because it looked really cool. It had a sort of
semi-cell shading, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. But when
it's like the Borderlands look, actually, isn't it? Very much like the sort of the sharp textures, but with cell shading.
Yeah, and it had a sort of Zelda style. The world has been painted black and you have to turn it back to colour sort of thing going on, didn't it?
That was kind of the theme at the time. There was quite a few games that did that. like The Blob.
What?
The Blob. Did you ever hear about that?
No. What's that?
It's this awesome Wii game, basically, where you control this blob who can change his colour. I can't remember the exact rules of it, but you had to essentially change your colour and paint bits of the town that were grey in a certain colour. But depending on the colour you were using, it affected the music that was playing and things like that. So like blue were jazzy tones, and like the piano section, or red would bring in some sax and trumpet, things like that. I can't remember what the actual point was in the colours, but I remember that's what they did.
Basically,
the point of the game was to colour the town.
Basically, all these games are clearly rip-offs of Whizball. Because Whizball was the original black and white turning into colour game.
I think Whizball was a rip-off of The Wizard of Oz. Complete with the name.
It wasn't really, though. Because you were the wizard.
That's true. You were the wizard, yeah.
And your cat, called Cat. Or, well, I think it was actually called Catalin, conveniently. Which conveniently shortens to Cat.
Catalin the cat?
Yes.
Okay.
And then it turns into a little helper robot thing.
At least it wasn't just Cat with a K.
No, that's true.
Count yourself
Whisper
lucky.
was clearly awesome.
He obviously took it to I suppose Lilac Wars came afterwards, didn't it? Quite a lot.
After what?
Afterwards.
Quite a lot afterwards.
Well, when you've got that pink ship enters the fray and the music suddenly goes doo 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 doo. The motherfucking falco and shit is all like cat, and a picture comes up and it's a cat. Brilliant.
Not like Slippy Toad or whatever.
They're all something like that. It's like Fox.
Fox McCloud is a fox, yeah.
Well, yeah, but Fox is actually a kind of cool name as opposed to. Sorry, everyone called Cat out
What's
there.
wrong with Cat? What's wrong with Cat's a cool name?
Well, no, it's a cool name unless you're a cat. Fox is always cool.
Even if you're a fox.
Fox
So-
Mulder. He was cool.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
Yeah,
I
he's
guess
not a
Falco
fox,
isn't
though.
called bird.
I mean,
Well, yeah.
bird
if you called
punch.
No, that's Falcon. That's different.
Falcon.
Oh, Falcon punch, is it?
Falcon. Punch.
Well, is he a falcon then? Falco the Falcon. That's pretty close.
Yes. No. Bugger.
Well,
yeah, he is.
assuming
Sort
he
of.
actually is a falcon. I don't know.
Because
I don't know
falcons
what he
can
is.
be really bright blue.
I don't think
You have to
it's
assume
like-
so. I mean, obviously that's why his name is Falco, because he's a falcon. That would make sense.
I can't believe we hadn't made that link before. I mean, it seems fairly obvious now.
Duh.
Well, I
But
don't
then
think we should.
why is Slippy the Toad called Slippy? I mean, apart from obviously Toads are kind of slimy.
That would be why.
Yeah, but that's not like all the other ones are named after their animals.
That's not like Furry
but
the
Peppy-
Fox or
Well, Peppy
Okay,
is
Peppy
the
is
biggest
a-
one, isn't it?
Peppy's a
Pep-
rabbit. So how does that work?
That
Well,
one from
Peppy O'Hare was his name. But
Well, no,
yeah.
I suppose Peppy is maybe that's a sort of reference to like being Peppy, like he's all upbeat and enthusiastic.
do a
Yeah,
barrel roll.
presumably. So, is there any connection between Peppy O'Hare
Until he gets old.
and Bucky O'Hare? Then?
Oh God,
Oh,
I
we
hope
can
so.
only hope. Yeah, maybe that's where the next Lilac Wars game will head
But
into
Bucky O'Hare was
righteous
green.
indignation.
Yeah, Bucky O'Hare was green and looked a bit like Jazz Jackrabbit, didn't he?
But he had a duck on his crew,
Yeah.
I guess.
And he had
So
that.
it does kind of point to it being the same universe where miscellaneous animals.
Flag.
Oh.
I think
Oh, well.
that was lag, and also you said miscellaneous, didn't you?
Yes,
Miscellaneous.
miscellaneous.
I don't think you need to pronounce the C in there, do you? It's miscellaneous, isn't it?
That's still pronouncing the C, just in a different way.
I know, but in the correct way. Never mind.
In the less awesome way.
In the miscellaneous is more awesomer.
Speaking
Yeah.
of random words, right?
Yeah.
Or bad words or whatever. We came up with this awesome theory at work this week, where if you combine a place name with some other word, you can instantly make anything sound pretty much dirty.
That's very
So,
unspecific.
for instance,
Like,
take
combine a
duck-
place name with any word in the entire universe.
Well, pretty
Yeah.
much. It seems to work quite well with food. Like the one that actually exists, I think, was the Dartford milkshake, or was it Dartmoor milkshake, something like that,
Yeah, but
which is
I mean,
a savage cocktail of some kind.
but
And,
there are actual foods that are named after places. Loads of
Well,
them, aren't there?
yeah, no, it's
Wensleydale
actual-
cheese.
it's-
That
it's
doesn't
like
sound
if it's-
dirty.
Well, no, but generally, apart from the Bakewell tart and Melton Mowbray, things like that, generally, the things are named after the county, and that's for some reason when you do that, they don't sound too bad. It's when you're like, oh, and Kendall mint cake, that's okay as well. But if you do well, let's just take a few examples. Like, how about if you had the Romford radish, for instance? It just sounds a bit wrong.
Does it have to be
the
alliterative?
Brixton baguette. Well, it doesn't, but it helps. It just sounds better. The Brixton baguette, or the Slough dumpling.
What? The Slough dumpling?
Yeah.
What's
The
dirty
Birmingham
about the
surprise.
Slough dumpling?
Birmingham Surprise is not a food.
I know.
No,
You can't have surprise as a food.
Yeah, but any surprise in Birmingham isn't going to be good.
No, but
Even the food
Yes.
kind.
Peterborough pasty.
Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah, so I was on Xbox Live, and that meant I could download some demos. So I actually did, and I played a couple. I played Perfect Dark, the demo. Have you got that, Rob? Or you think
I've
you
got the
may?
demo. I haven't played.
Yeah, I bought the demo. Do you play it?
I haven't quite brought myself to spend 800 points on a 15-year-old game
A 15-year-old game.
that
yeah.
you own anyway.
that I don't own.
Do you? Oh.
I always used Dan's brother's card.
Yeah, it was
Stevens.
Stevens actually, I think, and he had the you need the expansion pack, didn't you?
I had that.
You did have that, so that allowed you to play. Yeah,
I was a high roller in the N64 game.
I didn't have that because I only owned like 3 games. therefore I didn't need it.
What did you have?
Hydro Thunder, Mario Party 2, and I can't remember the other one.
Oh, Hydro
Presumably
Thumper's
Mario.
coming back though. Excited about that. Vaguely.
Although
Microsoft
it's
as well
it's-
are developing it. Well, not
Yeah,
Microsoft,
it's
but
it's not really
publishing
a remake or anything. It's more of a. Apparently, it's sort of inspired by, but not actually
Well, it looks pretty similar to me
official.
from the footage.
It's graphically, yeah, but I'm not entirely sure the gameplay will be. They sort of made a note saying that it wasn't like a in a way, sort of like a true sequel. So it could end up being quite different.
It could end up being more like Wave Race or something, where it's like more physicsy.
I think it will have more to do with the
insane
water.
jumps.
Yeah, although the jumps are going to be important, I think. But it does say in the demo, in the trailer, it says, "This ain't your daddy's Hydro Thunder," as if all our dads played Hydro Thunder. It's a really weird thing to say. Yeah,
It's
but
not
they
that
obviously...
old.
No, it's not even that old. Like it's in like arcade cabinets, isn't it?
Can I just go back to Wave Race for a second?
Sure, yeah.
In the same category as me, and never quite understood what the fuss is about.
Yeah.
It was amazing water for the time.
It
That's
looked
what the
cool.
fuss was
But
about.
Yeah, when on the GameCube version of Wave Race, yeah, but it was on the N64 as well, and it almost certainly comes across as one of those games that had just too little to do.
yeah, there's not much to it.
Even in the
there?
GameCube era, there was not much to it, and the controls were a bit. Well, maybe they were a bit more, reactive to the water, but which is quite nice. But they were just a pain in the arse, basically. I don't know. Never quite understood why critics make such a big deal of it.
Yeah, I never thought the water had... It did have a big impact on gameplay, but it never felt that fun to me. Like, the most fun I had with water, in a game when you're in a boat, was actually that Kayak Extreme downloaded game. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was the best thing ever.
That was really good, wasn't it? I mean, like, the water, obviously, now it looked terrible. It was sort of polygonal. It looked a bit weird, but it did have swells and things, and you had to, like, battle against the currents and stuff, and it was really cool. I mean,
Yeah.
who were
That
those?
was Small Rockets, wasn't it?
Yeah, Small
Of course,
Rocket, wasn't it?
that wasn't actually physics-based or anything, though, obviously. It
No.
wasn't like they hadn't modelled the water to
No,
exert
no.
forces or anything. It was just like, you're in this zone, and therefore there will be a force applied to you.
Yeah, but it worked. It looked cool as well. You could tell visually what zone you were in from looking at
Yeah.
the water. So the fact that it wasn't actually properly, modelled, which would have been impossible at the time anyway, didn't really matter because it had all really good sound effects as well for the splishing and the water crashing down and going through the rapids and stuff. It looked really cool. Yeah, because that was
Splashing.
Yeah, Small Rockets. They made that Red Baron game, didn't they? What was it called? Hunt for the Red
Also
Baron.
the best game
Yeah.
ever, clearly.
And it had that amazing cheat option that would play the Airwolf theme while you turbo boost.
Went too fast.
Yeah, you had turbine boost, didn't you, for some reason?
That was really good. PC Gamer did a bit of a bit of a promotion on those games, and they were good. Yeah.
And that game was pretty awesome, apart from right at the end. It went horribly, horribly wrong on the last mission. Red Baron.
What, Hunt for the Red Baron?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it wasn't very good at the end. It was really dark and trenches of...
Because it was like, you're flying over the trenches, so it's like, there's no landscape to speak of, not that that's
Yeah.
necessarily very important in a flying game. And it was just like, fight 1 million enemies!
Yeah. Yeah.
Joy!
That's right. It was they just yeah. We couldn't be bothered to finish it, obviously, so it wasn't nearly as much fun as the earlier ones where you had all the bombing missions and all the fun stuff like that. Chases and things. That was great. So yeah. What else? Oh, I downloaded the Splinter Cell Conviction demo, started playing it, and I don't know what it was, but I think it was probably fine, but the fact that it wasn't Splinter Cell in any way, like the Splinter Cell that I knew, just made me turn it off before I even finished it. I just couldn't be bothered. I was like, maybe I'll go back to it and try and go through it. But it's basically a cover-based shooter now. And I was like, I started playing it, and then it's because I'd been waiting for it for quite a long time. And by the time I realised how it was working and what they'd done, and how many people I had killed within the space of 5 minutes, which isn't really in the spirit of Splinter Cell, I find that I just went and installed the last one to make sure that it used to be good, and so I played a bit and it runs really well, Chaos Theory, because Chaos Theory was really weird because it looked amazing at the time on the PC because they wanted to push graphics ahead, but this was just before the new console generation, the next generation, was coming out, and so they had to release it on. Obviously, the first two games have been Xbox exclusives, and so they released the Chaos Theory on the Xbox, but they had to pare down the graphics drastically to get it to work on the Xbox, I think. But it was just before. It should really have been a 360 game, but it was before those launch titles. In fact, the direct follow-up to that, which I never played, which wasn't so good, Double Agent, was, I think, a 360. Might have been a launch game, or close to. But, Chaos Theory. So on the PC, it was really good looking at the time, and now I can run it like full screen and it looks fine, whereas every modern game looks terrible on my PC. But it's just I like the whole sort of patient waiting for the guard and then grabbing them and then asking them if they're going to say monkey, and if they say monkey, I'm going to kill you, stuff like that. That kind of stuff is awesome.
Monkey the code word or something.
Well, he just says,
I hate monkeys, bang.
Well, Sam Fisher is just basically in Chaos Theory, like it is serious, but like some of that stuff, he becomes sort of a little bit jaded, a little bit like pissing around. So like he'll like say to someone he's grabbed and he's got a knife to their throat, or say, if you say monkey, I'm going to kill you, stuff like that. Weird things like that. I think that's the
problem is then he's sort of like suggested it to his victims, so now they're more inclined to say monkey.
Inclined to say it, yeah. It's like, say what again? I dare you, I double dare you, and all that from Pulp Fiction. They speak English and what? Yeah. So, and that was really fun and completely different. Like the new one is like, you move from cover to cover, and then you can do that. Do you know this mark and execute thing where you mark your targets?
Yeah.
And then you press one button and he instantly kills you. You don't even have to aim, but you have to earn that ability by like doing a takedown. So all you do is you can mark people before you have the ability, even though you can't use it because you haven't earned it. But you just mark everyone, and then you run up and you take down one of them. Or you don't run up, you sneak up or whatever, and you take down one of them, and then you instantly press a button and you just kill the rest of them, and that's it, or whatever. And it's just kill. Whereas in like Chaos Theory, I think you can get through the game without killing anyone. I think. You get a score at the end, and you get like an ultra rating if you manage to like never be detected and never kill anyone, because you can if you grab people, you can sort of squeeze them and knock them out without killing them. You have two options. You can left click to stab them with your knife or something, and right click to just incapacitate them. And you can tell by using your thermal goggles whether they stay alive, or because if they die, then obviously they get colder. You can tell
that quick.
Yeah, actually, well, it's obviously I think it's emphasized. Yeah, it's a game, and so it's emphasised that you can tell that they get cold quite fast. But kind of thing. I really like that, and you could go through the game without killing anyone if you wanted, which is always fun in stuff like Deus Ex. It's a bit of a challenge in Deus Ex. It was actually easier in Splinter Cell, ironically. I mean, you got that massive...
It was pretty easy in Deus Ex.
I don't know. Do you think it was easy? It was easy at first.
Just hit everyone with trank darts.
I know, but you run out of trank darts, and I always run out of the...
you have to conserve them.
The prod, yeah, but if you have to hit every enemy,
if you're hitting everyone, then how can you conserve?
Yeah, exactly, and like
you only need to shoot once. That was
in the face,
and then all the old classic plan of if you want to conserve shock prod ammo, like you only have to stun them once and then switch to another melee weapon that doesn't use ammo to actually knock them out.
Yeah, but does that count if you melee them, like with the baton? Does that count as not killing them? I guess the game didn't keep track, did it? So,
well, apart from it did kind of in that first mission where your was like, good job not killing anyone, or you're a bastard.
And there's that other guy, the general guy, who gives out your weapons.
Oh yeah, he also doesn't like it if you kill people.
He doesn't like it if you kill people. But after that, it doesn't seem to matter very much. But after that, it does get harder when you're facing those like MJ-12 commandos and stuff.
Well, the trouble is you can't really not kill them because they always explode.
Yeah, exactly. They always explode, and it's the same with the MIBs and the the women in black, and always wielded those swords and stuff. That game was awesome.
I think I always like stealth games better in concept than I do playing them.
Yeah, I like playing Splinter Cell like late at night. There's just something about the patience about it, and like waiting in the dark. Because you knew you could kill anyone immediately, but you just.
I think Splinter Cell and Metal Gear are the only ones in the sort of stealth genre that sort of seemingly get it right. Although saying that, I still can't play Splinter Cell and enjoy it because I don't think I have the patience for those games.
Right. Well, now maybe you can. You should probably try the demo of Conviction.
No, because if I wanted to play a shooter, I'd play Gears of War or Halo or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, or even Uncharted because it's awesome. If I was for Splinter, I see what you mean. I know, and I think I agree with you wholeheartedly after watching the game trailer's review because that pretty much only showed him in combat in some form, and it's like, okay, this doesn't look and feel anything like a stealth game.
And apparently, as you go through that game, Conviction, you get loads of different weapons and stuff and upgrades and things, and all you really need to use is your silenced pistol. You can just kill everyone with headshots. I mean, it seems like a bit of a waste, you know. Because in Chaos Theory, they actually added something useful. Like your pistol had this thing on it where you could... it was like an EMP thing that you could shoot at lights and it would take them out for a short time rather than... you could... It didn't make a sound. So, whereas, because even if you shot out a light bulb with your silenced pistol, then guards could still notice. They go, "Who turned out the lights?" and stuff like that. And but they noticed the sound and stuff. Whereas if you zap them with the EMP thing, you could run past, and then the light would come back on, and they won't notice stuff like that. That was really cool. Whereas and so there's no point having a bunch of shotguns and assault rifles. I didn't even use the assault rifle in Splinter Cell much. The only advantage is it has a scope on it, you know, so you can shoot lights, basically. Shoot lights from really far away.
Do you think they were trying to do the you can play the game how you want to, but actually got a bit carried away with the shooty side?
Maybe. Well, no, because I should go back and play that demo again, but it didn't look like it would be... It looked like it would be a nightmare trying to do it without killing people. I'm not sure if you even can. Because it's a shooter, basically, now. And also, like, it has this really annoying... Like, Assassin's Creed does this a little bit, but, you know, games that have context-sensitive buttons. So, like, they do different things based on the situation.
Where you are, yeah.
Yeah, and some games do it well. I mean, the first game that I think of doing it was like Ocarina of Time or something, where it would show what was happening up at the top right, and to open a door, it would flip over, and you press a button. And that game... You never had a problem where there was never any ambiguity to it. Whereas a lot of games now, because they're so complicated, a lot of the controls, like sometimes the button can do 4 different things depending on whether you're standing on a weapon or stuff like that. And sometimes those things can conflict, and it's really annoying. And I was noticing it in Splinter Cell, like I want to climb up this wall, but I'm standing on a weapon, and now he's picking up the weapon, and I wanted him to, you know, and now I want him to drop off the wall, and now he's climbing up the, you know, that's kind of thing. And that really grates, especially because when your character does something that you didn't mean for him to do, you know, that's a real, you know, and it happens a lot, then that's a real problem with controls. It's like I was talking about Assassin's Creed. I couldn't believe that they put so much work into the animation and everything looking so great and running so smoothly, and then the controls in places are... I mean, you do get better. I mean, I've played it 29 hours now, and I got fairly adept at not jumping off a building to my death, and you know, and the combat gets easier. But it's never intuitive, never.
It's like most games in cover systems, aren't they? They never really seem to get them quite right.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole one button system on Gears of War is fine up to a point where you accidentally tilt the stick too early or something and go from cover to cover rather than running out. You know, that kind of.
Exactly. Even Gears of War, which is obviously the big polished master of the genre of that, I think that pressing A, because you hold A to do the roadie run, and then if you're holding it, then he kind of sticks into the next bit of cover, which happens in Mass Effect as well, which is really good.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Where you run, and then if you're holding it, you stick to cover. But sometimes you try to detach from cover, it doesn't work, stuff like that. And the best I found implementation of cover, like, was actually Rainbow Six Vegas. I don't know if you ever played that.
Not much. If it was anything like Graw, which didn't particularly have a very good cover system, because you always found yourself getting stuck.
Yeah, Graw was bad. Graw was just as bad. It was worse than Gears. Had a similar system where you press the button to stick. But what happened in Rainbow Six was you held the left trigger to stick to cover, and then the moment you released it, you're out of cover. So you could stand next to a wall going in and out of cover as much as you liked, you see, and then you could lean around the corner from cover and shoot while you were holding down the left trigger.
That's pretty cool.
And it was really cool because it was like first person. The game was first person, but then as soon as you went into cover by holding down the left trigger, it would go third person and you could look over the cover. So it kind of combined the best of first person and Gears of War, being behind something and being able to look over and see the enemies, which of course is completely unrealistic, but it's totally cool. So
that makes blind fire fun.
Yeah, and you could do the blind fire thing. I thought that was really good. Yeah.
There was always something quite satisfying with someone being just the other side of the wall or the knee-high wall you're casually hiding behind, and then blind fire with the shotgun.
Blam! Yeah.
Like, ha! I wasn't even looking. Speaking of ha moments, I seem to be doing that a lot when we play Team Fortress these days.
What do you mean?
Well, it's like the last few times. Well, I've had a bit of a. This is actually leading on to what I've been playing this week. Cause it's pretty much been entirely Team Fortress.
Okay, cool.
There's been well, basically, I've had a large period of sucking, which just really, really bad games, and I'm not entirely sure whether it's me or not, or the game looking.
I think it was the server,
because
I was sucking really badly as well. So it's like, it just seemed like the teams were terrible, and combined with the people who we kept ending up on the server with, it just made the teams really unbalanced.
Yeah, unless there's a sudden influx in really awesome players on our haunt, then yeah.
I find those guys in the Hampshire Heavy, some of them are quite good, aren't they?
Yeah, they're definitely better than average. You can go. It's like I go on like another random server, and it's like, oh wow, these guys are significantly easier to kill.
Yeah.
So
it's
anyway,
good because it trains you a bit.
Yeah, it put me in a bit of a frustrating mood though. And when I get in one of these moods, it's like, fuck's sake, I can't be this bad. So I keep playing it, and I keep wanting to go back to it. So I did. But now the problem is after I've had that large period of sucking, killing someone actually feels really good, and to the point whenever it happens, I pretty much shout ah ha 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 every time.
Do you do taunts and stuff when you kill people just for the freeze cam fun?
Sometimes, yeah.
I saw this thing where a Pyro, instead of doing his taunt for the freeze cam, he just does the thank you, says thank you, and he just does like a thumbs up, which looks really funny on after you died. He's just over your body with his thumb up. Pretty cool.
And there's been toying around with Pyro recently.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Trying to get his balance right. They sort of nerfed him for a bit, making the afterburn not work very well, and then they gave the back burner the boost. I still think it's rubbish because it doesn't seem to do noticeably any more damage, and the back burn zone is so small now,
right,
that it's almost entirely pointless using it. But they have increased the afterburn back to normal and given the normal flamethrower a bit of a damage boost now, so there's even more reason not to use the back burner.
Except they haven't actually boosted the flamethrower damage over what it was originally. They've just unnerfed it slightly.
Ah, okay, that's alright.
What did they take it down by? Because they just put it up by 10%.
It was really stupid. I went and read, because I was like, that's weird. The new patch notes is like, increase the afterburn duration from 6 seconds to 10 seconds. And I was like, so what was it originally? So I went back and read the original nerf patch notes. It turns out it was 10 seconds originally. So really, they haven't actually increased afterburn. They've just undecreased it.
They've just switched it back. Yeah, that's fine.
But they in this latest patch notes it says increased the flamethrower damage by 10%, and in the original one they reduced it by 20%.
Right.
Which I assume means it's now only reduced by 10%. It's not we reduced it by 20% and then increased it from being reduced by 20%, added 10% to that, because that would be weird. Nah.
No, you see, I didn't know about that initial damage reduction because I thought it had got harder to play as Pyro recently, and I just assumed it was part of my sucking, but maybe not.
It's gotten really difficult to kill people with Pyro, unless you're reflecting shit, in which case it's pretty easy, because everything mini-crits when you reflect it.
I hope they get it right, because, you know, I don't know. It's a good class. I think I have a lot of playtime on it.
Like, after the first nerf, when I was trying to play Pyro, it's just like, I couldn't even kill a scout, and he kept running right up to me as well, and it's like, I kept him on fire for like 30 seconds. It's like, why aren't you dead yet? Jesus! He kept getting caught in little bits of my flames and staying alight, so he was still taking afterburn. But because the actual flame was doing so little damage, it's like I just couldn't kill him. Then he ran off, and I was like, "God damn it, you're meant to be dead."
So, do you think after this latest patch, like overall, since they started these patches, do you think Pyro has been nerfed or buffed? Like,
well, now
nerfed overall. Although the airburst is a bit. You know, because that wasn't
know.
there originally. With the addition of Airburst, it's probably still better. But
I would say over these it's like now that they've basically undone all the nerf that they did, it's like the only thing they've actually changed now is 10% damage reduction and much faster airbursting. So with much faster airbursting and mini crits from airbursting, I'd probably say that's a buff overall. But it's really annoying when you can't kill stuff with flames. So even if it's actually theoretically easier to kill people, it's still really annoying to actually use because it's like I don't want the airburst things, I want the flame things.
It's not that
it's completely
Pyro-y.
against the character. Yeah, completely against the character of Pyro.
Although they have made the flare gun crit at mid to long range now rather than against already burning players.
Yeah, but that's just like a random thing anyway. It used to mini crit against burning people at any range, and now it's just like now if they're further away, full crits instead of mini crits. It's like
Which is
do you
cool.
do? It's still naffle damage, and it's still pretty much random that happens because it's really hard to aim at that sort of range.
Seems like they improve all the stuff that I don't use on the Pyro because I quite like the back burner. I'm not very good at the air blast thing, so it's really
I'm terrible at air blast because I always do it at all the wrong times. Like,
but I use the
when I should be
shotgun,
flaming someone, I'm shoving them away, and it's like fuck.
Yeah, but I don't even use the flare gun. I use the shotgun, so and the back burner, so I'm pretty screwed, aren't I? Just playing Pyro.
The flare gun is the best thing ever. God damn it!
I like the shotgun for the Pyro though, because you can chase people and stuff. It's quite cool.
But it's so boring.
The
shotgun.
I'm always in two minds as to what I prefer because with the shotgun, it's not as interesting, but it makes you slightly more. If someone's gunning for you, it gives you a bit more of a chance, at sort of mid-range.
You just hit them with several flares in a row. That's why it's funny.
Yeah, but the flare gun is so slow firing, and as you say, quite difficult to aim.
Yeah. It's hard to pull off, really.
The shotgun is good at... well, obviously it's not good at long range, but it's good at a medium to really short range, isn't it? So it's quite useful in a lot of... That's why it's the standard weapon, isn't it, for the engineer and stuff. Yeah, it's not amazing, obviously, because all the class-specific weapons are way more awesome. But it's useful. I mean, it's hit scan, isn't it? So you can actually hit people from across the map with it if you're careful. Although, not much
For
damage.
3 damage.
Yeah, exactly. Could make all the difference if they're on fire already from your burn. It's 10
from your flares, which I'm not using. Oh dear.
Oh, I'm burning. I'm burning.
So, Tier 2 is what you've been playing then?
Yeah. Anyone got any more ideas on what they'd like to see in the NG update? Because they still haven't really released anything.
Yeah, they've just gone silent.
Well, they're obviously working on it because they did do a blog post about it, which is quite unusual.
Yeah, they did a blog post about what we're not making anymore because it turned out it was bad.
Well, they're not going to do a post on stuff they are making, are they?
Well, no, but it's like it's like probably they made lots of shit stuff for all the other updates. It's just now this one's taking quite a long time, so they were like, we better post something.
Yeah, it was always going to be really hard though, with considering the buildings and stuff compared to other updates.
They really didn't have to give him new buildings. They could just give him guns.
Well, they might not.
They might not. Things.
They might not give new buildings. We don't know. I mean, do you think from that blog post where they said they abandoned that new building, do you think that implies that they are making new buildings?
I'd say so. I mean, it would be more interesting.
I reckon they should replace the wrench with a blowtorch that has slightly different build effects, and the blowtorch could also act as a really rapid fire close range melee weapon.
Like a really short range flamethrower.
Yeah,
really
it would be like
range.
the gauntlet on Quake.
Oh right.
So you just sort of walk into someone and it hits.
Or if you want to try and maybe avoid making it a flamethrower and therefore automatically be this should set people on fire. Oh no, we're overlapping with fire rating. Maybe instead of a blowtorch, you can make it like an angle grinder or something.
Yeah. Or welder.
Yeah, angle grinder is basically what that thing from Quake 3 was anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Angle grinder with spikes attached to the wheel thing.
You wear on your fist.
I mean, maybe I'm just thought of an awesome weapon there. It's like an angle grinder, so it's a melee weapon, obviously, but it's more. But you can just like the gauntlet, you can just hold it down and just do miniature damage in lots of little bursts. But then
you could make it super effective against enemy buildings for no reason at all.
Well, yeah, maybe. But I was thinking maybe its build effect should be it can't make things build faster, but it can repair things better because you're buffing off the damage.
That's quite, and it would be quite cool to have things build continuously using one ammo at a time rather than the whack where you do 10.
Yeah, but not.
Well, it would be, the problem with making stuff repair faster though is it makes the stuff even harder to take out when you're
that is the problem with it. It's that. That's the major balance problem with any kind of effects where you're going to change the engineer's melee weapon to have effects on different effects on buildings. It's just the whole engineer tanking regime.
I get the feeling they'll have to do something which has less repair but to more combat effectiveness. Something like that.
Yeah, but when's an engineer ever going to want to go to combat?
They're going to do that.
Turrets.
And they already talked about that in their blog post. That was the idea, wasn't it? That to give the engineer more opportunity to leave his base, wasn't it? What was the thing they rejected?
Oh, some weird shield or something.
It was like an auto repair building or something, wasn't it? Or...
I don't think that's quite what it was, but it was something similar.
I can't remember exactly, but they did state that that's one of their aims. Apparently, the aim of the sandwich was to allow the heavy to be able to operate without a medic if he wanted. I don't know if they've obviously got a blackboard where they write their design aim up at the top, and then they have a brainstorm underneath. How can we do this? And I think one of the design aims they've got for the engineer update is how can we make the engineer, more combat effective without its base.
He's never. It's
they could replace the pistol.
They have to give him such a ridiculously overpowered weapon to make him as combat effective as sitting behind a turret repairing it.
Well, yeah, but you have mobility, don't you? So that adds. You don't have to give him a huge minigun attached to his face, or they could turn into a heavy.
I still think they could replace the pistol with something that's periodic use, like the Sandman's ball or the Giraffe.
Definitely, because the pistol is pretty useless. You've already got the shotgun.
Yeah. That's the question.
Yeah.
He does
long range repair.
Well, that would be the obvious thing, some kind of
nanobots. Jar
nail
of
gun
nanobots.
or something. You fire nails at your turret and it repairs it. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh no! It'd be a roll of duct tape. Just because I wanted to make that awesome noise.
I could see very much that being
the
because that is a very sort of sandwichy kind of thing where it's inexpendable. Where it's I've got this roll of duct tape, and you attach it to something, tie people up in duct tape, and then they can't move for 5 seconds.
I mean, do you think they'd ever make it so you could select to choose a different building other than the turret? No turret. Engineer, no turret.
If it was something awesome, yes.
Oh, what? I wonder if they'll make it so you have
a turret.
Yeah, I wonder if they'd replace it with
a different
building
role.
cap, for instance. So you could build several dispensers, or you could build several turrets, or.
Well, that would be a bit ridiculous.
They already had that in the past.
An either or.
They already had that in the past.
Not infinite turrets. There was that great screenshot, wasn't there, where the intel room on 2 Fort is just filled with turrets.
Yeah, it's hard to think of. It's like what can you do to make it balanced that would replace a turret? It had to be something pretty goddamn awesome because you're sacrificing that huge defensive potential.
Yeah, it would have to have some kind of alternate potential, wouldn't it? Still defensive, or would you have some kind of offensive? I don't know. That's
well, yeah, to have something offensive would be pretty useful because offensive turrets are not very unless you really know how to do it and very precisely exactly where to put them and all that. Offensive turrets is pretty goddamn difficult to pull off.
I just had an idea. This isn't for turret replacement. You could spend forever thinking up ideas for TF2 like updates, basically. But
we came up with a lot for the sniper.
What if you had a personal teleport for yourself? So you could teleport to your exit that was next to your base, no matter what you were doing or where you were. So you could be in the middle of a fight and you could hear your base getting destroyed, and you'd be like, "Bye," and you could warp back to your base and repair it.
Into the middle of a sticky trap.
Yeah, well, you into the middle of death, easily. But I mean, you have to take that chance, don't you? It's like the hyperspace button in Asteroids, isn't it? You don't know what's going to be at the other end.
But then again, that could easily have all kinds of weird and fucked up, unforeseen possibilities with it.
Oh, obviously you'd have to drop the flag if you were carrying it, and you have to.
Well, obviously. I still can't believe that you don't drop the flag when you do a demo charge. I still think that's ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realise that.
Does that mean demos are the fastest?
Well, I mean, they could just grenade jump anyway, but it's just giving them another option for sort of low ceiling corridors, I guess.
Yeah, no, they did that in Halo as well, where if you use any of your armor abilities, you drop what you're carrying.
Even sprint.
Yeah,
which is barely an armor ability at all.
Yeah, makes your armor lighter for 10 seconds. Is it 10 seconds or is it 4 seconds?
4 seconds.
Oh, for the love of God. It's so lame. Maybe it was originally longer and they balanced it down to 4 seconds.
I'll tell you what would be an awesome thing to do with Dan's theoretical engineer instant teleport thing. It would just be to try and telefrag people. Just set it up in a corridor and every time you see someone walking towards it, just teleport onto them.
That'd be so cool.
That'd be pretty awesome, actually.
I've seen people.
Oh no! Better than that, you could actually make that like a weapon, but instead of it setting up on the floor, you could attach it to any surface. So you could put it on the ceiling, like a demo grenade. And still teleport you out of it, as if it was a teleporter on the ceiling.
Maybe. How about man cannons? So instead of building teleporters, you build man cannons.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that could be funny. I don't know.
There's not very many levels that would be particularly useful on, though.
2-fort, you could jump between the forts. Quite hilarious.
Yeah, that could be awesome.
Stuff like that. Woohoo! Or you could jump up to the tower. What's it called? The tower point. That you spirals up to the point.
Yeah.
I think that'd be quite fun. If for no reason other than snipers on the other team would have a precise corridor of flying idiots.
Yeah.
That would make it pretty easy.
That'd be so cool. Yeah. Some good ideas.
Snipe. Woohoo! Snipe. Woohoo!
But then again, that's like counting a teleporter, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, effectively. I don't know. All those ideas are reasonable, I think. You wouldn't be able to.
At the same time.
You wouldn't be able to give up a turret for a man cannon. That would be stupid. You'd have to replace.
It'd have to be a teleport replacement.
Yeah. That makes more sense, doesn't it? Because it's about travel, isn't it? Really. But it's like a teleport, but you don't have to build the exit in enemy territory. But it also gives the enemy is balanced by the fact that it only works in open spaces. And
maybe it lets you build 2 man cannons to replace the entrance and exit or something.
So if you were really excited, you could build them chained.
Yeah. Boing, boing, boing.
That'd be pretty cool, though.
Oh, I'm a cannon trap.
You could make it... What? You just put 2 pointing towards each other, and so the enemies stand on one and go... and just bounce backwards and forwards.
Oh, fuck!
Do you think it would work on enemies, then?
Well...
It's really funny if it did.
But then, That's the other thing you can do hilariously with engineer updates that's not a teleporter. Somehow have weird buildings that affect enemies somehow. Like a stealth teleporter, where it's a cloak teleporter, but then when the enemies walk over, it teleports them somewhere.
That's true. That would be really confusing and really annoying.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That would be pretty ridiculous.
Because that's practically griefing, isn't it? I mean, the man cannon thing would be amazing for griefing, though. If you put it somewhere around a corner where your team didn't expect.
Or just pointing it off a cliff. So every time your team walks on it, it just freezes to their death.
It'd be the ultimate griefing tool. I
suppose the problem with the man cannon idea is that everyone on the other team, and if it did affect the enemy, if everyone on your team went NG, you could just build a wall of man cannons and stop them going through a particular route.
Just block off their spawn by building a line of man cannons around.
I don't think it can affect the enemy team. Otherwise, you could do stupid things.
That probably wouldn't work.
No. Yes. An interesting tier 2 discussion on the upcoming engineer update.
Man cannon.
Try and think of any other hilarious things.
It could be any day, couldn't it, really? Or it could be...
Yes, it could be any day in a long time.
It won't be any day, because they'll do one of those week-long build-ups, won't they?
Yeah, well, they might. I don't know.
They've done it for every other one.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're going to do it for this one.
Yeah, but I mean, any day before that goes up, it's announced, or whatever, that it's going to be there within a week.
Come on.
I quite like that, where it has, like, you wake up every day and it has a different...
Can they possibly throw in other shit with this one, though, is the question. Because it hasn't been that long since the Soldier and Demo.
It's been a reasonable time.
It's been a while.
I thought the Soldier and Demo stuff came quite quick after Spy versus Sniper. I think this delay's been bigger.
Well, yeah. I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's much, other crap that they can put in. It's like, well, they'll probably do another round of community shit.
Well, they just did the
hats.
They just did the update with the named update, didn't they? What number was it?
119th update special.
Exactly. So that's an
that didn't really include much. It's like have a badge that was probably meant to be in the update anyway, except we cocked up and got the dates all wrong and stuff.
Well, I haven't gone on to it. Have you guys got badges? Like, when did you start playing? Well,
I have a gold one. Well, for shortly after release.
Yeah.
I've seen quite a few guys on the Hampshire Heavies servers have the Platinum Primeval Warrior one, which is like they were playing in the beta edition of Team Fortress 2.
Right. I don't think that looks shiny enough. It just looks grey.
It doesn't.
I always think it's a shit one. I think, oh man, that's some shit medal. Except it's not, because it's gold, silver, and bronze, and then platinum. It's like, oh, wait.
So you guys wearing your medals then? Those badges?
Yeah.
I'm specifically not wearing it because it's like, oh, fuck that shit.
I'm blinging it.
It looks really ugly. It's like a giant fucking rectangle. It's not even really a medal. It's just like here's a big slab of gold. It's like a gold brick attached to your chest.
Of every character, right?
Weirdly, though, if they get like a close-up kill cam, it's nice and you can read the text on it, which is quite nice.
And of course, being as they are just like hats and every other like item attachment to characters, they do still occasionally randomly end up floating in midair because somehow they still haven't managed to fix that bug, whatever it is.
Or
the floating crit sign.
I don't see it as often with Razorbacks any longer. I don't see as many Razorbacks floating in midair. Or maybe that's just
that's true. Or
I haven't seen as many demo toupees. I haven't seen as many demo afros either. Those were notorious for floating in midair.
Oh dear. Oh man, have you guys seen what is it, Ladder Goat? Goat Ladder or something? Is it Ladder Goat? I don't know. This is on YouTube. It's from I think Call of Juarez. You heard of that? Some Western game.
Yeah.
Last year or something. It's just this guy messing around in the game, and he finds this goat, which he calls a donkey or a deer or something, and he's kind of herding it into a corner, and the goat, because it's trapped in a corner, the goat climbs up a ladder, and you know how characters in games look when they climb ladders? They just they just fly into the air next to the ladder. So the goat goes up the ladder and onto the top of the building or something, and he just starts laughing and does not stop laughing for like 6 minutes or something. You can look it up. It's just called Ladder Goat, and it's pretty funny. I don't know.
Always is awesome though when they haven't got the animation for that and they just literally just slide up.
Yeah, it's just a goat slides up this ladder. It's not even like actually up next to the ladder because there's obviously a box around the goat that's quite large. So it just floats up into the air. What's under this thing?
Why would they think a goat would like to climb ladders anyway?
I don't know. They obviously said it so that any character can climb ladders if it wants to, and presumably that applied to anything, including goats. So, I don't know. I haven't played this game, but...
that would definitely make herding more interesting if sheep could naturally climb ladders.
Because
goats,
not that you find ladders in the middle of fields. Yeah.
Well, the thing is that like somebody took the audio of this guy laughing at this goat climbing a ladder and then put it over a video of a goat climbing a ladder because, of course, mountain goats couldn't climb anything because they're pretty awesome at climbing shit. So there's no problem climbing a ladder. So they just had him laughing at the fact this goat is climbing this ladder.
Climbing the ladder.
So I got onto this because there's a video today, because presumably today is probably the first day when anyone will be able to post this, but of a horse in Red Dead Redemption spazzing out and flying into the air for no reason.
Always. Everyone's favourite bugs.
Yeah, because it's an open world game, like incredibly... like
an open
GTA...
world game automatically means that something is going to fly into the distance retardedly for no apparent reason at some point.
Something will go wrong for no reason. And
it happens in all of them.
They had a clip on game trailers of a horse just randomly stopping suddenly, throwing its rider off.
Okay.
But it was like, it wasn't just, a typical rear up animation. It just stopped in place in a perfect sort of, instant stop basically.
Instant
but the
stop.
rider momentum carried on, so he went flying off the front.
I love that because presumably it's got the Euphoria engine just like GTA 4, so it has all the
flying out of windscreens.
Yeah, flying through windscreens and stuff. But this time it's flying on horses, presumably, which would be really cool. Oh,
but it won't make nearly as much sense because it's like when cars crash, they do literally just stop. But normally horses don't instantaneously stop.
That's true. Well, the best thing about Euphoria on GTA 4 was occasionally characters would like grab onto the car as you drove away, like policemen, or if you stole someone's car, sometimes they'd grab on as you drove away, and you could like swing them around before they fell off, drag them along the pavement, along the tarmac. It's really funny. Oh, it's good. Oh, I can't wait for this game. Red Dead Redemption is going to be awesome.
And then shit would fly into the distance.
I have to say, I have a couple of presentation issues of Red Dead Redemption already. The fact that the UI for the game is just completely ripped straight out of GTA. As in, the text that appears on screen looks just like, boring ass text. The map looks exactly like the map from GTA. You know what I mean? They haven't really...
Because the map I saw looks like a real map from like 1900 or something.
No, you get like the mini map in the corner of the screen. There's
yeah.
It's just ripped straight out of and looks way too futuristic for a Western.
Yeah, I mean, the mini-map in Assassin's Creed, too, looks exactly like the one in GTA. It's round and it has a really nice map and stuff.
But when the game occasionally tooltips you with what you can do appearing in the top left corner, they look straight out of GTA as well.
Well,
they always look rubbish anyway.
You think?
It's just a weirdly... It just looked like a really badly formatted block of text. Like a hastily put together dialogue in Windows,
I'll have to investigate this when we play it. Hopefully tomorrow.
I don't know. I never liked those tooltip boxes.
I'm trying to think exactly.
Or you can now do this and this and this. It'd be nice if they were just formatted or styled a bit nicer.
Okay, I'll have to look, because the presentation should be a strong point. I mean, other than the fact that it's an open world game and everything goes wrong. I think one of the things about these games these Rockstar games is obviously a new breed. We have to talk about them now because GTA 4 was this phenomenon thing, and now now Red Dead Redemption is kind of obviously joining the ranks of that kind of game. Obviously, all the other GTA games were kind of leading up to it, but it's not just the scope of the whole game and the attention to detail and all the things. I think one of the things that makes them so great is just the fact it's just like Avatar or something. It's the fact that they have a massive budget, like huge. It's like $11 million or something for I think for Red Dead Redemption, and you need that to create these worlds with the amount of detail, because the amount of art assets in, say, GTA in Liberty City is incredible. The number of cars, if you think the number of cars in that, vehicles, not even just cars, because there's trucks and planes and all kinds of things, and someone's had to model every single one of those. It's way bigger than in most racing games, which are dedicated just to cars, and then you've got you've got to build this whole
I doubt it
world.
Like GTA 4 has 300 variants of car.
I don't know how many.
300, really?
Yeah, maybe. It might do. Problem is, it doesn't
like
load them all
20
in.
different cars and then 20 different trucks.
Oh, geez, there's way more than 20. There's at least 100 cars. But I would say.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. The problem is they're not always loaded into memory, so you do see the same cars over and over again. And then sometimes if you find a sports car, then which is really rare, then you start driving it around, you see other ones all over the place because that one's loaded into memory, which is really annoying. But there are a bunch. I'd say there's, I don't know, maybe 300 is way too much, but 100 I think overall, probably vehicles.
I'm not saying that most racing games, dedicated racing games, have 300 cars. That's just kind of the...
but that's just one element.
Gran Turismo and Forza sort of level.
Yeah, and obviously those are more highly detailed in themselves, those car models, than they are in GTA. But they're not bad at GTA, because you can zoom right up to them by moving the camera down, and you can see all the detail on the bonnets and stuff. What's the back of the car called with the logos and stuff?
Trunk.
I guess. In America. Boot. The boot. Yeah, whatever. Zoom up on that and look at it. Yeah, the tail. Yeah, I guess the tail.
The tail of the car.
But
I
don't know. Cars don't really have tails unless they have ridiculous aerials, I guess. Or someone tied someone up, put them in the back of the car, and left that little bit of rope dangling out the boot. As you do.
Okay.
We've all been there.
Tail that car with the tail.
Tail cut,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's your mission. Then you have to tail cars with tails. What the hell? Anyway, I will probably talk about Red Dead Redemption after I played it, but I am really looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome, I swear. You need to play more Mass Effect, I guess. Have you not played any this week?
I still haven't got off Omega. I played a brief spell, but...
Right, okay. Yeah, is that that's the first place you go, isn't it, really?
I found Garrus.
Oh, yeah. No, there's like two lots of missions on that, so it's quite long, isn't it?
The slums and then the Archangel.
The Archangel bit, yeah. So have you done both of those then?
Yes.
Yeah. Fun stuff. I like that Garrus mission where you have to go.
I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I think I mentioned this last week actually, but I still don't like that mission complete screen.
Right, with the smoking man.
It's kind of useful, but I wish it just wasn't like a still image.
Yeah, well,
even though the planet is slightly animated, but it just looks really out of place. It would have been better if it was just in the sort of orange interface of the rest of the game. There's no need for it to cut away to Elusive Man.
I guess they're just trying to remind you that all your missions are for Cerberus. I don't know, but yeah, it could have been in that orange interface. I mean, did I mention the fact that kind of annoys me that even though sequels are often better, sometimes KOTOR did this where the menu screens were all nice and blue in the first game, and then in KOTOR 2 they were all sort of yellow or something. They look really sickly and weird. And it's sort of the same in Mass Effect, where the first one had nice blue menus, and now it's gone to sort of orange menus. Even though the game is way better, it just doesn't look as nice. for the menus, for the colour scheme.
Yeah, the orange in places doesn't work, and some of the menus still are pretty atrocious. Like the weapon loadout menu system is rubbish, and
yeah, but at least you don't have to like sell 50 million different variants of the same weapon or something just to get them out of your inventory. And all that
yeah,
nonsense.
I sort of miss those elements. Not because of the menus, obviously, but just because they feel more at home with the sort of RPG thing that the game was going for originally.
You'll get over it, I reckon. You know, once you get... I mean, obviously you started, but you won't care after a while.
I've been meaning to try it again recently, because supposedly this week they released a patch that rather cryptically describes optimization of planet scanning.
Oh, planet scanning, yeah.
It's like optimization is a weird word to use.
Yeah. I hope they don't change it too much, because I quite like the planet scanning. I mean, it's a bit mind-numbing.
Oh, it takes fucking ages.
Well, I like it because, like, I was thinking about it because I always did something else at the same time, like watching TV or like listening to a podcast usually, and I liked it that it didn't. You could keep playing the game without playing the game. So if you needed rest from the game without quitting out completely, you could just do a bit of planet scanning. I quite like that. It's quite fun. It's sort of it's a nice thing to do with your hands while you're like listening to a podcast or something, and like. There's some stupid jokes in there as well. Like if you go to the local cluster and you go into the solar system and try scanning, you can probe Uranus, and it laughs at you, like eating.
Yes, I know about this this joke.
Have you tried that? Yeah. Have you heard the rap about scanning planets?
No, is it in the game or a fan thing?
No, it's a fan thing, but it's really good. It's a really good, really well done. So I have to send it to you, but. Everyone
his
in the
lyrics
audience,
tight.
His lyrics are tight. Just go on YouTube and search for Mass Effect
Dynamite
scanning rap. It's really good. It's really funny. So yes.
Faux show.
I wonder how terrible and slow scanning planets and Eve will be. Although considering their space scanning interface, it might not be that shit.
Well, actually, that would be considerably. It'll probably be less slow, but it'll be considerably less hands-on.
You think? Yeah. There won't be a mini game, will there? There won't be like a mini game like in Mass Effect.
Well, there probably won't be a mini game to scan the resources, but then the mini game is the whole actually setting up the mining facilities and shit, rather than Mass Effect where after you found the stuff you just go ding.
Yeah. Probe away, probe launched. You just hear that about 50 million times. Oh dear. And you never get any.
Does it actually say probe away? Because that sounds like an invitation.
No, and not only that, but the voice saying probe away is Edie, who is of course played by sort of number 6 from Battlestar Galactica.
Trisha Helfer.
Yeah, Trisha Helfer. So it's her saying probe away over and over.
Probe away.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of like Battlestar people, I couldn't help but notice that in Flash Forward, both Lee Oben and Gaius Baltar have now turned up in the series.
Oh, have they? They're turning up in everything because Starbuck's been in 24, and so was Lee Oben. Lee Oben and Starbuck were both in this series of 24, which is about to finish, and I'm quite enjoying it because it's gone. Because 24's been cancelled completely, right? So they've only got a few episodes
apart from a film.
Yeah, maybe a film, but the start of this series was quite boring. Not a lot was happening, and Jack wasn't doing any torturing or anything. But now it's gone into this conspiracy thing, and now they know it's cancelled. He's gone insane. Like this, he's gone more mental than he's ever gone before. He even in the last episode he put on a mask, so he looked a bit like sort of Ghost from Call of Duty Modern Warfare. You can't see his face at all. He's got an assault rifle and he just shoots tons of Secret Service agents and kidnaps the ex-president and just, threatens him with a knife. And it's just so... And he, tortures people by cutting holes in their belly and, spraying, lighter fluid into the hole and then realizing that the guy has eaten the SIM card that he needs, so cutting it out of him, stuff like that. He's gone completely mental, and it's awesome. Yeah, it's like, ew. And there's only 2 episodes more, and I'm wondering how much more
is he still a good guy? Because
he's gone off the rails.
Good.
Yeah, no, he's not. No, I mean, well, we don't really know because I mean, what he's doing it for a good cause, but he's gone completely mental, and the authorities are all after him. So there's the authorities who are the bad authorities who are after him because to cover up the conspiracy. But then there's also the good, Chloe and stuff. They don't know where he is either, and they're trying to find him. But obviously to help him. But they're a bit worried as well. They're like, Jesus Christ, is he really Jack? Because he's just murdered a whole bunch of people, and stabbed the Russian guy with a huge sword
in insanely over-the-top fashion as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, basically, but yeah, as I say, it's gone insane. But
TV's going to be a bit bland anyway from now on. I mean, I say from now on, but NBC's massive wave of cancellations.
What have they cancelled?
Flash forward.
Oh, right. I haven't really watched that.
That's a massive wave.
Flash forward has gone. Law and Order is gone. Heroes is going.
Yeah, they cancelled Heroes as well. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, a number of the biggies are all disappearing, and it's like, but I actually really like Flash forward. You're cancelling another program that I really like, you bastards.
Oh, and the Joss Whedon one was cancelled a while back, wasn't it? Dollhouse, although I didn't think that was very good. Compared to
I hadn't seen Dollhouse, but God damn it, bring back Firefly.
Firefly's awesome. I watched. I know everyone has fond memories of Firefly, but I literally went back yesterday, 2 days ago, and watched an episode. I watched the one where there's that con artist says she's his wife. Yeah, because awesome. She's awesome because she's Christina Hendricks, who's who's in Mad Men and is the secretary with the ridiculous gravity-defying figure, and and people are going on about her on Reddit all the time, basically because she has huge boobs. But so I went back and watched this episode of Firefly, and it's really good. It's really funny.
Sorry, can we talk about the boobs some more?
You can if you wish. Do you know the woman I'm talking about?
I can only sort of remember her Firefly character vaguely.
You can only sort of remember the boobs.
Well, the thing is, I
can't remember the boobs that much. So, I mean, I know that's out of my zone for you guys, but I can't remember the boobs. It's because
Rob likes the butts, and therefore that would be the only thing you'd remember. And you don't normally see the butts as much.
No,
they weren't really
tits and ass.
No, you have to see both. All right, that makes sense.
It's the combination that sticks in the mind.
Oh dear. But I don't think that they are definitely there, but they're not emphasised in that Firefly because she's wearing quite a sort of boring sort of villager outfit.
I'm not surprised.
No, they're
not detachable.
No, you can't hide those. No way.
Modular beam.
Oh god. Anyway, but Firefly is awesome. Yes, so they won't bring that back because they killed off Wash in the film.
Yeah, well, they still could, but.
Oh, I'd watched that, right? And that's kind of Western, isn't it? Firefly is like a space Western. Yeah. Right. And then I was watching 3:10 to Yuma, and this guy who's the henchman of the main villain, I thought he looked a bit like Wash, okay? And I was like, oh, it's that guy in the Western again. And it wasn't him. But then later in the film, this doctor appears, and that is Wash. Like, yes, Western not complete without you, man. Well, modern anyway. But yeah, so he is in the film. It's quite good because it's you'd think it would be like a really serious, realistic, because old Westerns were fairly campy in some places. And Christian Bale's character, he is kind of playing it quite seriously. Oh God, I'm a rancher and everything's going horribly badly for me in 1900 or whatever. Stuff like that. Yeah, and talking like that. Whereas Russell Crowe is the bad guy, and he's sort of camping it up in a good way. This is I've never liked Russell Crowe in a film more than this. I never really liked him, and I didn't like him in Gladiator that much. But in this, he's really good. It's really funny and charming and sinister. He kills people stabs someone up with a fork and throws someone off a cliff, and it's freaking awesome. Yeah. So it's a bit of a weird clash because he's doing it a little bit campy, and Christian Bale is being super serious. Christian Bale. Well, he's not doing the Batman voice.
It's far off. It's still a
little bit well,
Rachel!
He's not quite doing that. But, yeah. I mean, the story didn't actually make much sense. It was pretty ludicrous towards the end. The final battle gunfight doesn't really make much sense because they keep changing allegiances halfway through.
Do you reckon Batman carried strepsils?
I think what in his in his bat belt. Yeah, well, he carries everything in that belt, doesn't he? everything he needs.
I bet if someone required some kind of medication, then he'd probably have the bat version of that medication. Bat inhaler.
I mean, obviously, he must have strepsils in the.
Although
in
bat
the glove
inhaler
box.
sounds like a bit of a problem. It's like, I'm going to inhale some bats.
Batacetamol. Ibuprofen.
Oh dear. That's exactly.
Or if someone's camping stove runs out of fuel, he's got batane.
Is that a pun on?
Butane.
Butane.
Batane.
Batane.
Or if someone needs a child blessing, he can become a Baptist.
Baptist?
A Baptist.
I don't think that quite works.
No, because a Baptist just sounds like a...
Someone who bats things.
Yeah.
That's a batter,
Not the
Zach.
batter. Not the batter.
No, because a batter is like hitting things with a bat, whereas a Batist is applying bats.
Oh, I see. Hitting stuff with the winged version of bats, you mean?
Well, no, more like
bats around.
less hitting and more like, direct application. It's less violent being a Batist.
Apply the bat.
Apply bats.
How do you apply bats? Do you mean like releasing them into a room, or do you mean actually grabbing hold of them and like applying them to?
I like the phrase releasing them into the room like they're some kind of wild creature, and they just go round.
Put them in the bat cages.
Wait.
Releasing bats like they're some kind of wild creature.
No.
Yes.
I thought we were still talking about cricket bats, or bats rather than bats.
Bats.
Oh, right. This is getting well confusing then, isn't it?
That'd be great, releasing a whole load of cricket bats into a room, like out of a cage. Flying my pretties.
And then they all just fall over.
Yeah, basically.
I am a Batist.
Huzzah!
Very impressive.
Batisserie, if you need a pastry. Or even a chicken that's been slow cooked whilst rotating. The batisserie.
Oh. I don't think he'd be able to carry an entire one of those, though.
What, chicken?
No, a patisserie.
What the hell are we talking about? How are we doing the time right now?
Mysterious bat powers. But go on, there's got to be some more of these. This is great.
I think we're running out of time.
Fantastic.
Really?
Probably.
Yeah, we've got 9 minutes.
Right,
Zach.
on with the bat puns.
9 minutes of bat puns.
Just finish out with bat puns. Oh, I can't think anymore.
Yeah, now that we've stated that that's our plan, they've all just evaporated.
Yeah, it's there.
Holy lack of puns, Batman.
Lack of puns.
Oh dear. Good old
If
Alan.
Batman was in the army, he'd probably be in a battalion. Unfortunately, that's not exactly the same, so it's not really a pun.
Battalion.
No, the Bat Battalion. That's right. That'd be even funnier. Alliterative.
Does it really count as alliteration when it's the same word?
Well, if it's the same sound, then it does
Yeah,
count.
but it's exactly the
just
same letters.
Yeah, that's allowed.
If he's out for revenge, does that mean he's taking out Batlash?
Battaliation.
Yeah. Not retaliation. I was talking backlash, but
Yeah, I know. Then I was
Okay.
doing retaliation.
Batlash. Alright, okay.
Paybat.
Paybat.
That's awful.
Then it's like he's paying some bats.
or if he gets laid, is he hitting bat?
Ew.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
Bat that ass.
It's better than tap that bat, anyway.
I reckon Batman would be a great porno actor.
Oh.
Just because of the voice, really, isn't it?
What? Hello, I'm here to fix the refrigerator.
Exactly. You see where we're going with this? Imagine Batman with a moustache, and there you go.
For all you know, Batman could. Batman might have a moustache.
Or a moustache.
I think he does have a bit. Doesn't he have one in the Dark Knight Returns?
He might have been stubbled.
Yeah. Bat-tash. I don't think that would be...
Beer-rat. No.
Beer-rat.
Trying to combine the word bat with the word beard.
Bat with beard.
instead of bat-eared.
Bat-eared.
Bat-eared? That just means he has like he already has
that
bat ears. On his bat
Is bat-eared.
If you need some extra coating to make your chicken crispy, then he can batter it.
Why chicken specifically? Why not fish or something?
Why would you batter chicken?
Well, I don't know. What is it? No, it was breadcrumbing, isn't it? Not batter. Whoops.
Cased in crumb. Just one, as always.
Cased in a crumb.
I was trying to do bread and bat, but it's as bad as beard and bat.
Brat.
Bat-head. Rat.
Or bat-head.
This is stupid. We should stop this. I think no one's going to care about this anymore. I think we've run out of gaming discussion this week, I think.
And that's bat.
And with
Fail.
that, I'm going to...
No more puns.
No more puns. This is the end. Goodbye, everybody.
We've got a whole 4.5 minutes of possible bat action.
We don't need to go up to
But
2 hours
action.
every time. It's bad action. We never did get to what else you were playing, did we, Zach?
I didn't really think of anything else, and then we talked about TF2 anyway, so...
Oh, did
Well,
we?
we didn't
Okay.
properly cover me. There's some stuff on Halo Reach that happened right at the end of the week.
Oh my
Rick,
god,
go.
you should have said before we started going about bats for like 15 minutes.
That's more interesting.
Go on then, what's going on?
Halo Reach, very quick last hurrah. They extended it by a day, which was nice. Also
Is
this
it
week
over now?
they added a new. Well, yeah, I think it ended today. And they also added a new playlist for the end of it called Network Test 1, which was basically generator defense, which actually was really awesome. The end.
What's generator defense then? I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Defend the
There's
generator.
there's three generators on the map, and they can get damaged by weapons, any weapon from any range. And you can either, excuse me, you either kill the attackers. It's gone to shit, hasn't it?
Yes, it's really
Exactly.
Yeah, you either kill the people attacking it, or you can go up to them and lock them up so they put a defensive shield over themselves so they can't be hurt for 30 seconds. But you have to keep doing that, otherwise the generators overheat and then the shield comes down, and then you have to... And trust me when I say it actually does work really well. And unfortunately, because it was a network test, it's fairly laggy, but...
But that's going to be in the final game. So, do you think you'll play that mode if you get Reach?
Yes.
Which you might considering. Yeah, okay. Because you were thinking, wasn't. It was fun, but you haven't been playing Halo 3, so why would you play this?
Yeah, exactly.
But
generator defense at the very least is a fun game type. If I had more people, if I had more people to play with, then.
Well, I should be able to get on live from when I move my stuff, so probably get Reach if you're going to play it, and we play a bit of that.
So yes,
cool.
like the rest of the world, we will have an opinion on Halo Reach come autumn.
Yes, we shall. Yes, it's going to be a little while. I hope the single player is good, otherwise I probably won't buy it. The end.
Batter award winning. Batafta.
Okay.
The trouble is that it has the F and the T in it, so it kind of screws it all. But after.
Right. Well, I bring it to a close this episode of the Saladcast. Catch us again next time, same bat time, same bat place.
or not, as the case may be, because we're quite inconsistent.
Not the same that time. Not the same that place. Oh, wait. Oh, actually, wait. Same that place.
Same bat place on the internet. Different bat time.
We're quite badly organised.
Probably a weekend next time, but we don't know. Oh, actually, I might be moving next weekend, so we might have to do it this time next week. If that's okay, Thursday or Friday. Anyway, talk about that after the podcast. The end.
Bye.